sure everything is good when we go live.
I was trying to see if you got the invite. He said he sent you the invite. Just checking to see if you got the invite. We're about to start.
So many fucking. Who's that? J Love.
Hey, what's up, JayTech? What's good? Snow Bunny Honey.
Hey, what's up?
Eddie Love. And Big Money getting money.
What's going on, J Love? What's up, family? Hey, Snow Bunny.
What's up?
Snow Bunny Honey.
I'm good.
Yo, JayTech, that was a good podcast, man. I was listening on y'all. Y'all had the dream team up there. You, Sick. That shit was fire, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That shit was fire, man. Y'all did your thing, man. That was the dream team right there. Jay Barry, my man Sick. Yo, y'all was doing your thing. That's what's up. J Dubs. Who we got today, Big Money?
It's supposed to be next year.
Next year? No, I thought you said Mooch. It said Mooch, right?
No. Nooch say he got joined next weekend. He said he can't make it this weekend.
Oh, okay. Yo, I need y'all to give me the floor, man. I need you, cause yo, let me tell you something. Big Money said something I was gonna say to Next Gen. He said when I was listening to him on that podcast with when he was on Next Gen's panel. I ain't gonna front. Big Money said something I was gonna go at him, just like how Big Money said to Next Gen. I was like, damn, Big Money beat me to it, and Big Money was right. He was right. He was 100% right, yo. I listened to that podcast. I was like, damn. I was at work listening to that shit. And Big Money, you hit it right on the nose, man. He created the atmosphere.
Oh yeah. He know he started that dude.
Yeah, you know what? Look, Big Money. I'm from the hood, right? You from the hood too, right? I'm supposing you from the hood, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let me explain something to you. What you explained to him, but I would have put it to him this way. I would say, look, man, I'm from the hood, right? I would say, yo, Next Gen. I said, Next Gen, y'all, you participated.
Hold on. This him right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I got 7 dates.
We doing this show today. Just get here, nigga. What you mean? What we doing today? We doing this show today, nigga. Come on, we waiting on you, nigga. We wait. You got the invite, didn't you? He sent you the invite.
Okay, let me go send it again.
Okay. He said he'd be about 2 minutes, y'all.
That's cool. We got actual topics I had to write down because there was a lot of shit this week, so we wrote that down.
What did you say, J Love?
Now I was gonna say to him. What I was gonna say was that like say my man got shot, right? My man got shot. Next Gen was there. If for example, let me just give an example. My man got shot, but Next Gen was there. He didn't participate in my man getting shot, but he was there and he knew who did it, right? So he left the scene. Now we looking for these niggas that shot my man, but we run it to Next Gen. You think we ain't gonna let that nigga have it?
Oh yeah.
So what I'm saying is that
what's going on, J67?
Going on now. Now he don't want no part of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He don't want no part to this console war after you initiated it and got this whole shit started. You knew it was the truth from the beginning.
Yeah, he know.
All these dudes we have, Big Money, all these dudes we have now is because of him. All this shit we got now is because of this dude, man. All these problems this shit was going on is because
he was the general of that shit. He was the head motherfucking general. Hey,
Facts,
all the people,
facts.
all the people up under him is like I said, like he spawned a lot of motherfuckers, man.
Exactly.
He spawned a lot of motherfucking niggas.
And no, Big Money. And you know what's so funny about it? I remember me and JayTech. Because I was one of JayTech's first dudes on the podcast. Like, with me and him, Son of Sam, we was always chatting up on PSL. We was always chatting up. You know, we'd be up late nights, me and Jay and Son of Sam and Somatic. And I ain't gonna front. I used to be like, when I first noticed about this console war shit, I was like, yo, what the fuck? He was one of his first videos that I stumbled upon, him and Seventh. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I didn't know what was going on. So I kept watching him and monitoring this shit like, yo, this shit is for real. Like, you just is really fucking up, trying to slander a console I grew up off of. And I be loving me and JayTech used to chop it up like a lot. Like, yo, what's going on with these niggas? Yo, for real. I was just like, yo, this shit is crazy, yo. I never knew what the fuck these dudes was really doing until I started monitoring these niggas. And then I started watching Dealer. I remember seeing Dealer's first channel. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This shit is crazy. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was really going on.
All them dudes came from up under BGST, bro. All of them came from up under BGST. The only one, bro. You know the only one that probably he's still with that he's a major part of the crazy shit, but he didn't come up under BGST. Dude that be with Dilla all the time. What's his name? I keep forgetting this motherfucker's name.
Oh, Cole.
No, not Fonz. Cole, yeah. Cole probably the only. Cole came up under Diller. Cole came up under. Cole really was by himself.
D-Bach?
No, Cole Diller. Cole Diller, D-Bach, he came from up under the BGST flag. They, hey, bro, like, one thing I can say about them, though, bro, they planted one hell of a flag, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of them, but see, the power that is PlayStation, bro, it was so fucking strong. That's why I always go back to that 2016 E3 that they did. Yeah. Oh my God, Sony shitted on everybody so bad. It couldn't help it because at the end of the show, listen, if you go back and listen to that show, bro, that show that BGST did, they did it on Mooch's channel.
Right. I remember that.
To that show.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to that show, bro, at the beginning, they was Xbox fans, but at the end, they end up being in one show. Sony turned them motherfuckers into PlayStation fans, bro. Like, bro, I'm telling you, with Spider-Man, listen, I remember that. With my man, Next Gen, because, bro, this nigga sounded like a kid. That motherfucker said, "Ooh, Spider-Man!" I said, "Damn, this nigga that went young." Hey, but see, that's what it is, bro. When you see some real live gaming, bro, you can't do nothing but ride with that shit, bro. But yeah, I'm with you 100%. That's why I was telling his ass the other night, bro. You started all this bullshit. You started. You started.
And I was waiting for somebody. Yeah, and I was waiting for you. I was waiting for somebody to jump on his panel and say that, which J Dubs did mention to him, but it went over his head. He was trying to avoid it.
So what are we talking about? Cause you know I kind of like kind of put my distance between the Crumb side. I did my own gaming shit, so I don't really fuck with them or know that bullshit. But
but Jay, like on the podcast you just came from, sick podcast, and that's what I was telling you, Jay. At the same time, stand your ground, nigga. Do not fall for these niggas. And Sick told you one thing about you. You stood your ground. I told you that before you started blocking 100 niggas, Jay.
Yeah.
It's like you black. You can't change the color of your skin, nigga. You can't change that color, nigga.
Yeah.
That's you. This is you. Like me, this is me. This is me. The PlayStation is all I wear on my sleeve. That's me. Ain't nothing I can do. I don't hate Xbox. I don't fuck with it. But if that's what you do, if you love Xbox, that's you. But don't slander the shit I fuck with. Don't slander it, dude, because I'm a curb stomp you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I love that they attempted to participate in the console war because, I mean, let's be honest. They weren't gonna win. Like
Nah.
they were the most expensive. They were $100 more expensive. They were bundled with a peripheral that nobody fucking wanted, which was the Kinect. Also, they didn't have the games, and they proved how weak their games were because all of their games were doing 720p. So it's like there was no way. I mean, PlayStation recovered, but you got to remember the PS3 was already more powerful than the 360.
Yep.
It had a bad launch. The trophies weren't there. The online infrastructure wasn't there, but it made a comeback. They tried. They listened to the community. They put out the exclusives. Microsoft this generation is like, hey, you started all bad, and then they didn't have a wheel to continue. I think they maybe 1 to 2 years of attempting to have good competitive marketing and good competitive games, and then after that, it was over. It was like, hey, I give up. And then they put their games on PC, and then the rest was history. And that was a while ago when they started giving up with Quantum Break. I think was it Quantum Break or was it Rise? One of the first games to.
No, Next Gen, what up, man?
What's good with you?
Oh, okay. How
you doing, bro?
Hello, Z.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Hey, that's nobody right there, Z. That's nobody. That's what we was talking about the other night. That's nobody right there.
I look better in person. What's going on?
Yo, you still fucked up, man? Damn, man. Next Gen, you still sounding fucked, man?
Yeah, man. You got kids bring that shit home from school.
Alright.
Okay. Kids ain't washing their hands. Parents ain't washing their ass. Pretty much.
Oh, God. It's fucking the light-skinned guy.
No, fuck you, receding hairline, tight t-shirt, fuck face. What's going on?
What's up, man? We got a lot of fucking topics. I wanted to talk about one thing before I fucking forget. So I'm gonna go move on over to share. I got everything situated, but that would be Sunset Overdrive. I was getting information from the Xbox community that Sunset Overdrive was still owned by Microsoft, and it cannot be put on PlayStation. And that is not true.
No, Insomniac
owns
IP.
And so Sony owns Insomniac. All I'm putting out there, and just keep an open mind, Insomniac has been talking a lot about Resistance and Sunset Overdrive. Not so much talking about it, but continuously posting either pictures or GIFs or videos of those two individual games. And those are the two games that a lot of people do want to see come back. Sunset Overdrive, I think it would be right at home over on PlayStation. It would definitely be supported. Resistance definitely needs a new lease on life, whether it's a remake, a retelling of the story similar to God of War, or just a remaster. Either one of those would work. So I'm telling everybody to keep an open mind, and also remember, again, these are the facts. Insomniac owns Sunset, Sony owns Insomniac. So it's Insomniac's game. I mean, it's
Sony's live?
game. Yeah.
Yeah, we live.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Somebody give me
we live. Yeah, we live.
Somebody give me the link. Oh shit, my bad. Oh, what time you started?
2:00 every Sunday.
What time is it now?
It's 2:13.
Hey, fuck all that, man. The star of the show got so fast and we late. Fuck is y'all talking about? So we goddamn make the show, man. Shut up, man. I mean, you got about 5 motherfuckers in here. Let me get this shit right. Let me get this shit jumping, man. It's been late, man.
Let me get this shit. Hold on. Let me get this shit popping.
Motherfucker done sent me and woke me out my slumber. You know, I'm sleeping on these godly hours, man. 2 o'clock in the goddamn afternoon.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Get your ass back. Man, listen here, fuck niggas. I live a life of a rock star, man. I'm going to bed until 7 o'clock in the morning.
Damn. God damn.
You misinformed you. You rejected porn star.
Yeah, fucking out there. I'm like the god of the night. I'm out there cleaning up the streets, man. Walking the street like Omar from the Wild with a trench coat on, man. Looking for some mayhem to get in. Send me the link. Inbox me the link.
Yeah. I gave you the link.
All right, hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hold on 1 second, man. You in my inbox?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Hold on a second. Let me check it again, good brother. All I see is a link for the Discord.
Oh, the video. Shit. Hold on. Let me get that link.
This nigga here, y'all want to question my integrity? Y'all want to question my sobriety? Come on,
That nigga need to tighten up.
He ain't got the mental fortitude to have me on this goddamn podcast. Send me the link so I can turn this shit up.
Hell no. JayTech, come on now.
Listen,
Hell no.
so I can turn this shit up.
Hell no.
Is this what you want from me? I'm sorry. Look at this shit right, man. Damn, I'm doing. There 11 motherfuckers in here. What the fuck going on, man?
Let's get this up, man.
Hold on, man. Don't
I just left 6,
we got
man.
people coming in.
I listen. I understand. You said don't get it twisted. Yeah, your people's at work. They're gonna catch you in a later day.
You right. Let me get this shit right.
Listen here, man. Let me get this shit right. Let me help you out here. Let me do you a favor. All right? We go to Twitter. All right, hold on. Let me fuck this. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna the next gen. Join next gen and friends. Fuck that. You tell me doing this right here. Join next gen. 720.
Hey man, you better not put that shit up in there.
It's blowing up now. It's blowing up, yo.
Friends.
The numbers is going up, y'all.
What the fuck is y'all talking about? Y'all want a Grammy?
13, man.
Y'all want a participation in
We 60 motherfuckers.
60. Nigga, I get 50 or 60 super chats at a show. Let me get this shit right. Join next year 720 and friends. As I take over.
PlayStation Legion.
As I take over.
PlayStation Legion.
Take over. What's his name? The PlayStation Legions?
Yeah, PlayStation Legion.
PlayStation
Legion. Let me tag my people. Let me tag some very important people in here, man. Let me do this right here, right? Hold on. Hey, hold on. Why we waiting for me to send this very disrespectful tweet out here? Hey, JayTech, what's going on? You be blocking motherfuckers and following people was out. You done follow me, then block me. What the fuck is going on, man? Like you been a vacuum or something, brother. You gotta step outside of that chamber. This shit, whatever you keep blocking motherfuckers, man.
Nah, Jay, check that shit off.
Yeah, you need a motherfucker to preach to. A motherfucker to preach to. Let's step outside the echo chamber. Let me see we got who get here. Let me see. We can get enough here. Y'all want enough here? We get enough.
Yeah, go
on. Bring this sweet ass in here. So y'all need a bot on this motherfucker. So we get Dirt Diggity. My phone at. Or Mooch was supposed to join?
He was, he said next weekend or the weekend after.
That janky motherfucker one, he still jam motherfuckers up. He saw them 8 motherfuckers in that chat. He said, oh, no, I can't benefit for that. But I'm a real nigga. Hold on, let me help you out here. Hold up. Let me call Dirt Black. Let me be friends. Yeah, let me compatible. Yeah, what y'all do the show every Sunday, though? I'm just fucking with y'all.
Yeah, every Sunday, man.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday, too, Jay.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
What post up at? What
post? Oh, that's what fucking need this motherfucker.
Man, I'm gonna smoke that nigga down.
Post turn this motherfucker upside down. Now, what is we doing here? Post be like, what is we doing here? I'm calling Dirt right now. Dirt might be in church.
I'm here with that bullshit.
Hey, yo, Dirt might be in church. Dirt might be in church right now pointing to the mini-face guy. Hey, Dirt. He might be pointing to the Lord of Light, man. I don't know what's going on. Let me hit post. Let me call on that phone. Hold up, man. I'll help you out. I'm sorry, man. But I don't wake up, man, about 4 o'clock, man. Literally. Damn. Yeah, bro. See, my sins is confessed within my dreams. I'm writing poetry that no one sees or takes the time to read. I be fucked up at night, man. I'm calling that now. But I'm tweeting it out, though. I'm putting it in a couple of my Facebook groups. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to just, he ain't answering either.
Yeah, Jay, finish what you were saying, Jay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We got a lot. We got a state of play. I'm not gonna hype anybody up on it, but I know that we got the Resident Evil 3 reveal because again, Jeff Keighley, he denied that it was gonna be at the Game Awards show. I think if we are gonna see anything from Batman, it would be there. If we don't get it at the Game Awards show, it's definitely just gonna be showing off at E3 for the next generation of consoles. But like I said, I expect to see something from Ghost of Tsushima. Maybe an acquisition because they said they had 2 more left. So I don't know who's going to get acquired, but we might get that information on Tuesday. But whatever we do get on Tuesday, it would pertain to it being on the PlayStation Store available for pre-order. Because they're having their live stream at 9 o'clock in the morning East Coast time. That's real early. That's their earliest one. 20 plus minutes long. So I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some indie games like we did last time. Maybe some VR titles. Maybe the shit we don't really care about. But I'm hoping that we get some big announcements for something new. I mean, they got a lot of games that still haven't came out. Project Awakening, Lost Soul Aside, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. You know, probably another trailer for Final Fantasy, another trailer for Kingdom Hearts, shit like that. What I got? Neo 2, you know, refresh on that, let people know that's coming out. But they try and push out all these games. I don't think we're gonna get anything from The Last of Us, but who knows? But I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna get anything.
Hey, you know what, Jay? I think with this coming up, I think this is a good day. And I'm glad that they tweeted out that it's not going to be anything from the PS5 because everybody is so anxious to see what's going on with the PS5.
Nah.
And you know what? It's good that they nobody, because I can't wait. I can't wait until hold on, god damn it.
Wait, what? This nigga drunk? Hey man, listen, this fella, go in the bathroom, show the fuck up, man. Hey, listen, big money. Go in the bathroom and show the fuck up. You can't get snowing this word, leave this shit to me.
Nigga, somebody just text me, nigga. What are you talking about?
Hey, brother, you got an Obama phone. You can't get no text from me. Who the fuck you want to listen? Alright, what we talking? I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded. My shit just kicked up. All right, what we talking about? What we talking about?
You ready, next gen? You ready, man? You ready?
Who on the panel? So I want to just say everybody.
Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is J Love, yo. J Love.
Oh, listen, I appreciate the support, good brother. Real nigga to a fucking nigga. I appreciate it, man. Just know that my integrity is always in question. I appreciate that. I got to get you on one of my shows. J Love, what your name is?
Yeah, J Love. I be on the comment. I be hitting you up.
Oh, that's what's up, brother. I bring you on the show. So make it happen. Right now we got Ice Queen Gaming, right? Was Ice Queen Gaming?
No, I'm Snow Bunny.
Oh, Snow Bunny. I'm sorry, Snow Bunny. Snow Bunny. Now, what does that stand for?
It's just two things that I liked. I'm not affiliated with the porn star.
No, I wasn't talking about porn. No, I mean when you say Snow Bunny, I mean you got the complexion for the right connection. You mean that you white?
No. I'm completely opposite of what everybody thinks.
Oh, you're black.
Yes.
Oh shit! That ain't gonna lie. That's alternative universe, man. That's a different dimension.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
I like that. Okay, Snow Bunny. All right, who else we got in here? Snow Bunny. We got JayTech. We got my man Big Money and J Love. All right, I see it on the screen now. And Yellow. What's going on, Yellow?
What's going on, Jay?
Everything cool, prosthetic. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hey, listen. Hey, do me a favor. At the end of the show, JayTech, you got to show me how to work this Nightbot. Because they be muting motherfuckers in the chat. Like
I took my Nightbot off of that feature, but it's just
if you don't mind, listen, each one teach one. Let me forget. Show me how to get it, because I want my shit to tweet out my Twitter and my all that other good shit like that. You know, and not because for typing in the chat. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm putting your link in a couple of my Facebook group. So we got you said the PlayStation event. What was it?
Tuesday.
The event's Tuesday, 9 o'clock East Coast time.
Wait, were they shooting that bitch in Japan or something? They were on it.
No,
Asian time?
They just want to make sure it's there before the PlayStation Store updates. Mm-hmm. The PlayStation Store updates at 11 in the morning.
Well, listen, I'm gonna say this. To be honest, given the timing of that show, I wouldn't expect any huge announcements. You talking about 9 o'clock in the morning? Motherfuckers taking their kids to school.
No, what I'm saying is something there. Let's say Ghost of Tsushima. If it gets the type of announcement that I think, it might not be a release date, but it would have to be because we're at the end of the year. And if you have that release date at the 9 o'clock, right? Mm-hmm. At 11 o'clock, when the store updates, you go to the PlayStation Store and pre-order. Instead of, having the show after 11 o'clock and it potentially getting leaked out on the PlayStation Store that it's available for
I'll give you an example of what I mean, right? Now, don't break my legs. Like when they had that hold on one second. Like when they had that 25th anniversary, that shit was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
That was in Japan. This one's in the United States. They just it's on a Tuesday, so they want to beat the update day, the update time. So they want to make sure what they break on the live stream, when the store updates, you can pre-order whatever they're breaking. So whatever it is they're gonna reveal, it's probably gonna be available for pre-order. So that's all they want. Because if you do it after 11 o'clock, one of somebody's PlayStation store is gonna leak out when that shit updates.
And then you gotta wait till next Tuesday, most likely.
Yeah. You don't want that shit to get leaked out. I mean, that's a surprise. I mean, it's not much of a surprise because we already know they updated.
Well, I guess the release date, would be cool. I know it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
So do we have a release date? You have a release date for the what do you call it? For the Last of Us, right?
Yeah, we have a release date for The Last of Us. What is it?
That's February, right, or some shit? Or
they got pushed back to May.
All right, so I'll probably maybe go to the Tsushima may probably be spring. Somebody usually drop a bag in April.
Can't be spring because you got the Final Fantasy VII remake in March.
Well, it could still. I mean, that's
I think Ghost of Tsushima has to be like
exclusives.
In August,
they'll be killing the sales or something.
Man, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you something right now. To keep it all the way a buck with you being, Final Fantasy gonna do what Final Fantasy gonna do. The zealots are gonna go out there and buy that bitch in droves. Day one, right? I mean, even with Ghost of Tsushima, I don't even far as sales. I'm not expecting. That's not something that the casuals will run out and buy. Even with the Final Fantasy, but shit like well, compared it to like Spider-Man or what I mean. Like those are two different games. So I think those games again are going to do what they're going to do. Because shit, if we're talking about new consoles launching in fucking November, they got they gonna have to do something. Motherfuckers got to start saving their coins. Someone dropping $500, no motherfuckers gonna be having it like that. You know what I mean? So I might be wrong between. That's only tradition though. They always go big in April. Like what I mean? When did Spider-Man come out? What month was that?
That was September.
September. Yeah, September.
All right, so all in that year was God of War. Then Sony had a hell of a goddamn year. They did God of War, Spider-Man, all that.
Yeah, a hell of a year every year.
I don't think they can never be outdone. I think they might have out there done this shit. Can I ask you guys a question? Switch it up a little bit. Yeah. And honestly, how was Sony's year this year to you guys?
Going into the final year,
it was okay. It was okay. I think it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay.
I don't expect this year to have been that good when they're supposed to be making an active transition to the PS5. So I don't expect it to be as loud. Exactly. Now, next year is gonna be loud, but those games, they're obviously gonna be playing better on PS5. They're all probably gonna have updates. Like let's say Final Fantasy, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us.
Okay,
those games are gonna have updated versions.
But next year, this year is gonna be better than the 2018 year because we got Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, I'll give you that. Ghost of Tsushima is yet to be seen.
I got $100. I got $100. Next year, I got $100 that Ghost of Tsushima will go diamond. I bet you that game goes diamond.
That game gonna do good, man. I
bet you that game goes diamond.
A lot of people say that shit about Horizon, and that shit sold over 10 million.
Wait, hold on. We might get a bet going on here, big fella.
$100. $100. That game goes diamond.
All right, who I'm talking to?
J Love.
All right, I might take that bet. Well, here's the thing, right? That's like, and if it's looking like a game like that, what's that shit? Shadows Die Twice. The security. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. Ain't very pretty game, but if it's a game like that, far as difficulty, something being hard.
I don't think that's gonna be like that. It's not gonna be like that.
It's not like Shadows Die Twice. If you're looking at it because it's a Japanese origin game, yeah, but it's not the same game play style. So you gotta have an open mind when you're looking at PlayStation exclusives. Just because a game looks like another game, it doesn't mean it's gonna play like that. I'm
just talking about from the combat that I've seen.
It's not. Again, it's from that area of Japan, but it's not gonna play like a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, Sucker Punch doesn't produce and push out, games of that. I wouldn't say difficulty, but of that formula. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be more like Ninja Gaiden, but slower pace. It's gonna be like Ninja Gaiden, but a little bit slower.
I hope it's a hack and slash. Keep it all the way.
To be honest with you, I think it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be like an Uncharted and a Tenchu Stealth Assassin, bro. Combined.
I ain't never really
that makes sense.
That'd be slick. That'd be
slick. I ain't really care for Tenchu, but I hope it's like a hack and slash. I can go through raid pretty and just chop shit up. You know. I mean, would you consider God of War as a hack and slash? I mean, basically.
Definitely.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
I still at the core, you got a super chat there, brother. Pay your bills.
Super chat.
Yeah, you got Mega Dave-O. Go ahead. Whoever wants to read it, I'll read it. Mega Dave-O. What's happening? Xbox is trash, you gentlemen.
Xbox is dog shit. What's going on, Mega Dave-O? What's going on?
Hey, now, Jay, look, we just got through talking about this shit, right? This dude right here, the general.
Yeah.
Hold on, like, we talked about this shit the other night, Z. You started all this motherfucking bullshit out here.
You got some bets. Tsunami. Hey, Tsunami, you want to hop up it? You need to bot this motherfucker. They need to bot the beat on. Pause.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You the one that started all this motherfucking bullshit, so we gonna beat up on you.
And I also so cracking my neighborhood to my own kind. I'm a piece of shit. Right, but listen, my integrity is always in question. Well, I told you what happened. I was saying my prayers, right? I was on my hands and my knees. I said, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the cradles my soul to keep. And if I should die before I wake, God damn, Phil Spencer, the Xbox should break. But check it out, right? Look, check it out. That's real shit, though. To be fair, right? Outside of being entertainment, and I mean, if we're gonna be honestly here, right? If we can go back to 2013, right? Outside of the messaging, they fucked up with the messaging, right? All right, to be fair, right? But Xbox had the better game. We could be subjective or objective. Sony had the Bloodborne and The Last of Us Remastered, and they had the better version of the multiplayer. That's what they was riding on. And if we gonna keep this bitch all the way a beam, you know what I mean? They had The Last of Us and
Infamous Second Son. We had Infamous Second Son too, Jay.
Yeah, but that didn't set the world on fire. And I beat it. It was very repetitive. I mean, I'm gonna be I beat the game.
Well, let me say this to you. Next Gen. Infamous Second Son beat Titanfall in sales. You know that, right?
Hell no.
Yeah,
it did. Yes, it did. I did. I showed you proof right now. I sent it to you. I sent you that, yo.
Titanfall sold over 10 million copies.
Look, even our worst games, even our worst games are better than anything you've been playing on Xbox. It's as simple as that.
Listen. There's one thing about me, right? I know I signed a pony contract, right? But I'm gonna keep this bitch a buck and split it all the way down the middle. Titanfall sold over 10 million copies. And I ain't capping, but I don't give a fuck.
Which one? The first one or the second one? The first one or the second one?
First one sold over 10 million copies. Well over 10 million copies.
Where you read that from?
That's been said a while ago. Listen, trust me, many things. I don't lie about this.
Hold on.
Hey, Jay. Oh, hey, Nate, Jen, I'm sorry, JayTech. Tazami. Hey, JayTech, do me a favor, bro. Unblock Tazami, bro, so he can come in here.
Oh, then he blocked
What up? Who is he?
Hey, he got the fastest block man in the West, bro.
Yeah. Hold on.
You say anything wrong to my man, he gonna block you.
Is he blocked on Discord, or you talking about YouTube?
I don't know, Tazami, what did he block you at?
He's blocked on Twitter.
Yeah, hey, Jay, let me tell you something, right?
Oh, you good, man.
Listen, let me tell you some real shit, right? And listen, and it was crazy. You've been doing this shit a lot longer than me, right? But I used to peep game, each one teach one. Like, let some motherfucker say something racially disrespectful or talk about your kids and all that shit don't matter. It's all a community, right? Mm-hmm. Some of your biggest haters that you think will be the ones that show up to you and support you the most, right? Exactly. I'm gonna be real. My shit. Look, when I took that band hammer from Crap and Mooch, they used to be blocking motherfuckers in the chat. For I don't give a fuck. Look, I let the chat be the chat. Let them go out and say everybody can have a difference of opinions. We all going to sing the same tone, right? Because when you do that, you want to fucking small your audience. Like you motherfuckers want to show. Because look, bro, some of your biggest haters will come up and watch everything that you do. You know what I mean? If you was a viewer, then at the end of the day, we all can agree to disagree. We just discussing video games. Let some motherfucker go out there and cross the line, say something about your family, or say something about my kids or something racist. They're fine. If it's about gaming, let them be them. Like, maybe that shit don't mean nothing. Don't get caught up in that shit and get serious. Ain't nobody gonna stop and Sony. Just games. I'm being real, right? Once I took that bad hammer for them, and I'm blocking motherfuckers, man, that shit took off.
Hold on. So the guy you talking about?
The Tsunami. Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I want to ask you. This is what I want to ask you right here.
Yes.
Because I was pretty much no disrespect, ignoring everything you just said. When JayTech gets blocked, nobody says shit. Hold on. When JayTech gets blocked, nobody says shit, right? So the guy you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if I'm already blocked by that individual?
No, he said
no. That's what I want to say. I just went to his page.
Yeah, he said because you blocked him, so he blocked you back. Like he like to talk shit. But how about this?
I don't know the dude. So
how about you guys unblock each other? You need a diverse panel. You know what I mean? He's a diehard Xbox. Get him up and y'all can beat his goddamn legs. I can give you the permission to beat the shit out of him. I beat him up. He's a punching bag. He's a punching bag with eyeballs. You know what I mean? You can highlight this shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just not come on the show. They can whip your goddamn legs. But back to what you were saying. Titanfall did over 10 million. Was hugely successful.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Yeah,
over 10 million. Like I
said, that's good for Titanfall. You're supposed to expect the game from that developer, those veterans of developers, to do something like that.
No, but just to answer old boy saying, I'm just saying, right?
No. What I was saying, next gen was that the Titanfall during that time of release and Infamous Second Son, it beat it that week, and I didn't know there was that many though.
This nigga said that many was on me talking like Trump now. There was good people on many sides. We ain't about to do that, big fella. But what I'm just saying, I don't care. I don't lie about no video games. It ain't that serious, right? I know my tag is always a question. He said men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. I bought Infamous Second Son. I beat it, you know what I mean? But one of my issues
But you said it wasn't. No, you said it was repetitive. Wasn't good though, right? You said it was repetitive.
I mean, I like the story. When I mean repetitive, each mission you clear. I gotta go tear up some more police stations, whatever you call them, get more light bulbs. Like that shit got a little repetitive. I mean, a little bit.
But it was quality though. Next gen, it was quality though. It was quality game though. It was a quality game.
I beat it. Listen, I'm not saying I didn't like it, but what I'm saying, what PlayStation was known for, which you claim to fame. You guys had at the beginning, at the start, you had the better version on the multiplats. You had the power on your side. You had Bloodborne, and you had The Last of Us Remastered, right? I know you got a few, like my man. What's my man? What's my man? Big money. He gonna talk about the Killzone. So Killzone was dog shit.
I thought Killzone was dope. That's me. That's my opinion, though.
Okay, another problem. You're entitled.
Let me speak, J Love. Killzone was never like. But it wasn't bad, true. And that's I played all the Killzones from 2 all the way to Shadowfall. You put that game visually, up next to fucking Halo, Gears, or Call of Duty of that year, or even of that fucking generation, and it still stands the test of time. That's the game. Hold on, that's the game that launched the Decima engine and gave us Horizon Zero Dawn, and then gave us Death Stranding, which already has 2 Game of the Years already, as of right now.
I'm not negating any of that. It was a pretty game.
Look, it's not your cup of tea. I will always respect different people's opinions. It's not your cup of tea. It's not for you. You did not like it. I respect that. But for you to put out that type of opinion, like, hey, it's dog shit to me, it's dog shit universally, I can't respect that. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Let me recap. Listen, he said he wants to come on. You want a bot to come on the show? He said he want to come on the show. You're allowed.
I don't care less. Ain't nothing to tell me. The generation over.
Do me a favor. Wait, hold on.
So he got unblocked. I unblocked him. I unblocked him on the live stream. Everybody saw that shit.
Next gen.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. You had a PS1? You had a PS1?
Do I have a PS1?
Did you have a PS1? Did you have a PS1 at the beginning?
I have everything, bro.
Okay, you had a PS2?
Yeah, that launch was trash. So we had one, yeah.
Okay, so what made you decide to say to yourself, "Yo, Xbox was better, the better console"? What made you say Xbox was better
than the PlayStation 2?
Yeah, PlayStation in general, just a PlayStation brand. What made you say you prefer Xbox over PlayStation?
You want to know the truth? All right, hold on 1 second. One thing at one time.
Since you had all PlayStation consoles up to this meeting, to this point.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get you 1 second. Hold on. I'm trying to get my man the link. If he want to hop up in, it'd be fun to have a difference of opinion. Hold on 1 second. You sent me the link right here. Now let me do this right quick, because I don't want to lose my thing. All right, hold on right there. Okay, Discord. All right, right click, copy the link. Let me send it to Tsunami. Close this. This should be fun. Sue. All right, Sue, check your inbox, Sue. I'm about to send it to you right now. I drop it in podcast to the symbol. There you go. I'm dropping the podcast.
Cool. You need somebody to dip out.
Shout out to everybody in the comments. On PlayStation Legion podcast. Shout out to everybody, man. Hit that like button, y'all.
got room for one more. I think
you got a limit on your shit? A limit on your Discord? People can be
on Discord, period, bro. What are you talking about?
I don't think it's a limit.
He said is you full.
I'm saying
not full. You just gotta hop on over to the voice.
Okay, so he's not in the Discord.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So to answer your question,
J-Love.
J-Love. Okay, hey, Tsunami. I dropped the link in the podcast.
I think he in here.
Okay. Beat his ass too. Cheat out, right? Now to answer your question, right? Let me start from the scratch. Again, shout out to everybody that's watching this live. Let me go to the show so I can actually see it and I can interact with you guys and see and we can talk. We can have some fun. Thank you for inviting me. All right, hold on. Okay, we got 44 people here. A little better. We go. Let's do it. All right, hold on. All right. Shout out to each and every last one of you guys in the chat. Ice Cream Game. Shout out to everybody. Now listen, this is what I was saying. When I've always been a gamer, right? Not to make a long story short, right? Always been a gamer. Right. If you don't know, like I say, I come from a very sketchy background. And somebody know me as an nefarious character, right? Street dude, right? Always been in the game and walked into EBX games in the mall shopping, right? Probably buying some, I don't know what the fuck I was buying, but whatever. Walked into EBX games at the time. I didn't even know PlayStation or Sega Saturn had a new console out. How I would keep up with my gaming news is whenever we went food shopping, I would buy the Game Pros, the magazines, walk around the store and read, old school shit, right?
Nostalgia. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and at that time, we're talking about this is in '95. I'm probably a little older than a lot of you guys here. Sony, the brand itself, you think about what Apple is today. Mm-hmm. Sony, the brand itself, was like maybe bigger than that. Like Sony was Sony, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and listen, I was more of a Sega guy than a Nintendo guy. Sony name was so big, right, that I chose the PlayStation over the Saturn. I went back and bought the Saturn. I got the Saturn for myself for Christmas. I was a big ass kid, like everything. Have something to open play with on Christmas. But I bought the PlayStation. I told David J. I did the same. I bought the PlayStation. I bought Loaded. I bought every game they had. Whoopsie, the Mortal Kombat that came out, I don't even like wrestling, but that wrestling that came out with that year before it was dope. I bought Tekken Tag, bought like 10 games, whatever they had in the store. I bought an extra controller and a memory card. Ridge Racer, but all these goddamn games, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm a PlayStation guy. I've been kind of fell out with Nintendo. I also got this saying that I'm growing up with Nintendo, but Nintendo hasn't grown up with me. You know what I mean? And if you don't know, and a lot of people don't know this, right? People just think that Sony's always had these great exclusives. What Sony had back then during the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, they had great second and third party deals. You know what I mean?
Right. But they didn't need exclusives at that time. Remember, they was running the show. They was running the table at the time.
I'm gonna get to you. It's gonna make sense, right? Exclusives are, you realize, gives a console its identity, especially when you got still iconic franchises like Sega, Sonic, and Mario. When you think of Sega, you know what I mean? Exclusive gives a console's identity. And the same thing, what they did was they came in and what fuck Nintendo was their policies and not willing to. I wrote a thesis. Check it out, right? And this may go over some years. I'm gonna dumb it down. I wrote a thesis when I was in college called "The Timeless Nigga." You have three type of niggas. You got niggas that die before their time, niggas die because they stuck in time, and niggas die because of time and they're not willing to change with time, right? And developers wanted Nintendo to go with CDs, and they stayed with cartridges, right? Which also was very expensive, and they can do the 3D stuff. At the time on the CD, that's how they lost the business relationship with Square Enix, right? It was one of the contributing factors. So Sony came in. I'm sorry, backtrack. So even some of Nintendo's best games that they're known for, Double Dragon, Karate Kid, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that I like, wasn't made by Nintendo. Double Dribble, Russian Attack, and even Metal Gear. All of Ghost and Gun wasn't made by Nintendo. Second and third party deals, and that's what again that Sony had. At that time, great second and third party deals. So these big multiplats that you have today, whether it's the tech engines or stuff, all that shit like that, was exclusive to that platform back then, right?
Absolutely, right.
So you asked me what made me choose the And again, what sold the PlayStation 2 well, and I talked about David Jeff behind the scenes, a lot behind the scenes. Like people were like, I didn't even notice. Like people think that say Sony's first introduction into gaming was the PlayStation 1 or them their business falling out with Nintendo. I didn't know these motherfuckers was making. Well, he said he was a tester. They was making dog shit games, basically soft porn without the money shot, right? Straight to blockbuster DVD type games, right? I didn't even know that. So you learn something every day. I didn't know they were making games already. But then of course we all know about the history of how Sony fell out with Nintendo, right? What led to the PlayStation now. Let me answer your question. So I went from the PlayStation 1, boom, to the PlayStation 2, right? I had a Dreamcast, I had a set, I had all that shit, right, too, also. So what happened? I didn't even know Microsoft was coming out with a console. White boy came through the hood, literally with somebody's credit card. I gave him a bundle of dope, 10 bags, there's 10 bags of heroin. We went to GameStop, we went to Toys R Us, and let us ball till we fall. Now I got everything. I got the Dreamcast, I got the PlayStation 2. What the fuck is this Xbox? I bought that. I only had a few games. I didn't like double. What do you call it? Double O's. What's that game? GoldenEye. I didn't. Just make me dizzy. I never really got into.
Man, that was a classic.
It used to make me dizzy. But make a long story short, I bought all that shit there, right? So then one thing was told me, I remember the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1, you could put your music CD in there, it'll play. Oh shit, I could put this I can rip it to my hard drive, and I can have the music playing while I'm playing the game. I'm like, damn, I'm playing Tony Hawk. I got Beanie Sequence playing in the background. And then what happened is, just so I be reading a magazine, I signed up and became a beta tester for Xbox Live. If you don't know my personality, right, and me liking to pop shit, I could sit in my house and pop shit to a motherfucker. My God, I was sold. You know what I mean? That's how the Xbox. And then also they had a lot of games. You realize too, the Xbox was looked at more like for the hardcore gamer, even back then. You know what I mean? You had games like Otage, the Shmoo. They had a lot of Sega old games. But then not Jedi, Knights of the Old Republic. Then you had Jade Empire. You know what I mean? Shit was fire. Then it came up. I'm a huge Fable fan. But then the Xbox Live came out. And that was really what sold it for me. And again, I just, even though I started seeing the show and I felt their passion, and they got stomped. Don't get me wrong, Sony stomped out the competition, right? They stomped them out, but then the 360 dropped, and I had the achievements and this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh man, if we're going to compare, we're going to be honest here. I bought the PS3 at launch. It's trash, $600. The motherfucker didn't even upscale. And my TV that I had at the time, this is really what did it. I had one of them old big screen TVs that did 1080i. So the PS3 didn't even support that. So it would downgrade the signal. So I bought a 1080p to follow a month though, television. But it would downgrade the signal to 480i or 480p. So imagine you having a $600 goddamn console and shit looked like some PS2 graphics, right? There was no voice chat. The controllers didn't rumble. It was a fucking mess, right? So it was like, Microsoft had their shit together.
What you ran HDMI? I mean, for it to do that, you can't have. I mean,
you needed that HDMI.
Actually, it was before HDMI was DVI. I had to buy a cord called HDMI to DVI.
Okay, I remember that. Okay, so that's okay.
I saw, like I said, the old big screen TV, with the big bottom, the big body
right,
you know what I mean?
Right, the big.
So it was either 720p or it was 1080i. 1080p was the new shit. When the PS3 first launched, it didn't upscale it down. It didn't do none of that shit.
No, the Slim did though.
I'm talking about 2006, bro. When that bitch dropped $600, I was there day one. You know what I mean?
Okay, right.
So you had all those issues, motherfucking not rumbling, and you know what I mean? Chat, not in games, like the shit was just not. And going from again, where Microsoft made it mandatory that every game had to have goddamn voice chat. You know what I mean? Every game had to have voice chat. You know what I mean? So that was a huge thing for me. You guys know me just popping shit. And then they struggled, with software, like a lot of the games didn't have the controls of the rumble. Like I believe the first game that I really liked for the PS3, believe it or not, was Heavenly Sword. That was like a female version of God of War. I love that shit. And the next one that I got that I really liked was Metal Gear Solid 4. I didn't really care for.
He made so many mistakes.
You said I made so many mistakes?
No, that's the background. That was somebody's background.
I'm sorry. So give you that. So you know what I mean. So you had the achievements and all the Xbox Live, and now you indie but on, you know, they had a store, but back then we called them Xbox Live arcade titles. Every Wednesday we had a new, you know, arcade type, you know, games, $5 little games and shit like shit that Sony wasn't doing. But that's why, listen, check it out, and to flip the script. That's why I told my Sony brethren, you don't want a world without the Xbox, because Sony was this cocky giant, and how you say it, and I'm glad when Sony Microsoft, it was good for business. Microsoft came out and kicked these motherfuckers, kicked their teeth out, right? And made Sony get on their shit and you got a store. Then they added a fucking store. Then, you know, then you had, you know, the online got better. You had voice chat. Then they added trophies. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers, we don't want no trophies. Motherfuckers laughed about shit, and then now motherfuckers, you know, you got trophies, right? You know what I mean? So he say,
man, with this long ass story, man. Come on.
But it ask me a question, right? You brought me, I'm asking you a question, put it together for you, right? So you can understand. So like I said, still, you know what I mean? Competition drives competition. The Nintendo always gonna be out there doing their own thing. You know what I mean? I don't care for that shit, but they're not really a direct competitor of Microsoft and Sony, these two big giants, unless someone comes out and takes their place. But it was Xbox Live and some of the hardcore titles they had, like I said, especially Xbox Live, more online players.
Okay, wait a minute, whoa. We talked about this the other day, bro.
No, I'm glad nobody. J-Love,
yeah, answer my question though. Yeah, he answered my question though.
Yeah, no, they said you.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Even though I had the SOCOM and all that shit, it wasn't hitting the same. You know what I mean? But you know what though? You know what?
But you know what next gen though? I think, in my opinion, I think Sony would eventually went online though. You know that, right? They'd eventually have to go online because that's where it was going to. It was online. You had to buy a $100 network adapter. The Xbox came out of the box from the rip. You had the PS2. But the PS2 had online. The PS2 had the PSI, and it was leaning towards that. It was going to. It was going to go that way.
Yeah, look, this is what I'm saying. Look at the time frame. 2001, right? The Xbox One dropped, right? 2002, Xbox Live was a beta tester. Look at my gamer tag. These are all facts, right? Sony, yes, they were going that way because we know the Dreamcast and Sega Saturn was there, but you had to buy a $100 network adapter. And the biggest gripe and the problem with PlayStation 2 online is that broadband wasn't mandatory.
Yep.
Microsoft, that's what again, talking about, you know, us being leading the way, like motherfuckers, Microsoft a lot. They contribute a lot to gaming. They made broadband mandatory. On PlayStation 2, you got AOL and Earthlink and all that dumb shit. Like, this shit was horrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with no voice chat, you know what I mean? So, again, then I had to buy a $100 adapter. Even the GameCube had online. You had to buy adapters. I had Fanny Star online for that also. They only had one title. But what I'm saying is that the type of gaming I like to do and talk shit, they were there. Up was online. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Hey, Z, check this out, man. Like I said, I was saying in a minute, man. We talked about this on your show, bro. Like, we know you all. That's why I'm glad Snow Bunny is in here.
Yes, sir.
We gripe a lot about this Nintendo thing. I understand. Now, Nintendo had their faults, but you have to give it this year. Nintendo did their motherfucking thing this year, bro. They did their thing. Regardless of who like it, they did their motherfucking thing this year, man. We need to give credit to Nintendo. This whole year was Nintendo. I give this whole year to Nintendo. And the only reason I give it to them is because Sony is getting ready for next gen.
Okay, listen. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me cut you off.
Go ahead.
No, I can be subjective. Let's think about me, J Money, or everybody here. I can be subjective or objective. I look at even me being a Xbox guy, I never liked Halo, but I understand Halo is huge for them in that platform. Or I don't like Forza. I understand Forza is big and then for that platform. I get it. No, I don't like Halo. No. I'm gonna try to get into Halo Infinite when it comes out. Give it the first start. I've never been a Halo guy, right? But anyway, I'll make a long story short. I understand, but this shit that they make ain't from it, bro. It's not for, in my opinion, a grown man or with active sex style. In fact, I need a cell phone, bro, for voice, online. Bro, that shit weird. Like this one talking about. Listen, real talk, right? If this one talking about motherfuckers voicing with their wallet. Does Microsoft got they shit going on with them? Absolutely, right? But Nintendo need they ass whipped, bro. I need a goddamn cell phone to get online, to talk.
But that's only with first party games. It
shouldn't be only with nothing. We're talking about it's 20 goddamn 19.
No. But I'm saying is more the third party games that has first part. I mean, has voice chat. Has voice chat.
Okay. But how about this then?
Nintendo gave them the option to do it. Some of them did it, some of them didn't.
How about this, Snow Bunny? Snow Queen. I'm sorry, I'm fucked up.
Snow Bunny.
Snow. How about this though, right? And maybe you may agree with this. It's 2019, right? Mm-hmm. We all agree on the year, right? I had a console and online and with the Xbox in 2002 that had features that a console, mind you, a 9th generation console can't do. And that's a problem. I feel like Nintendo gets a pass.
Nintendo doesn't get a pass.
No, they do get a pass. Because you know why? Because they do get a pass because motherfuckers say, it's Nintendo. Oh, that's just Nintendo, right? I'm coming from an age in an era where Nintendo did compete. They were all about their motherfucking specs. But the GameCube was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Nintendo does what Sega don't and all that shit. Nintendo 64. You know what I mean? 64-bit graphics. They used to compete. You know what I mean? This Nintendo, I'll give you an example, right? The Wii was supposed to be an attachment for the GameCube. That wasn't even supposed to be a standalone. They did some, gimmick shit that worked for them, but what it stifled Nintendo a lot in the past and how they lost all the support to Sony is with their policies. One game in particular was Grand Theft Auto 3. They came out and made a stance that that doesn't belong in the game. You would never see that on a wholesome console. Just that, like they were bugging the fuck out. The problem that I have with Nintendo, and this is a fucking fact, right? Not without saying too much, is that Nintendo of Japan makes the decisions for Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Europe, right? What you have, because what's popping in Japan, it's not present here. What I mean by that, maybe you may understand by this, right? Nintendo had with the online for the 3DS. It was some guy that got some kid that lured him to come to Florida. Some weird shit. That happens on all.
Yeah, that was some crazy.
Okay, it happens on Xbox Live. It happens on PlayStation. It happens on all. But what did Nintendo do? They panicked. They took online down from the 3DS. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what happened was they were covering their ass because they got a lawsuit slapped on them.
It happens with. You don't think that happened on pedophiles on Xbox Live?
I didn't say there wasn't pedophiles. I said they got slapped with a lawsuit. I guarantee you, if Sony or Xbox,
it happens. That's where you have that user agreement when you sign up, and that's where that user agreement comes in. We ain't liable for that shit. It happens on every platform. Happens on PC. So them being slapped, that doesn't mean anything. No. Because again, they wanted to protect the children, which is cool. I have a problem with that. Protect the kids. You know what I mean? I believe the children are the future. Whitney Houston type shit, right? But let me say you do have more kids, but as adults, it's a problem. Buy more games than kids. I'll give you an example. And maybe you understand. When I was a child growing up, I got games for my birthday and I got games for Christmas and shit like that. Adults buy games all year long. If that makes any sense what I'm saying. We the bread and butter. You know what I
mean? But Z, the thing is, I can't admit Nintendo has made some mistakes in the past, and they still making a little mistakes today. But Z, the thing is, they putting out games that people want now.
Money.
They putting out games. That's the most important thing, though.
Okay, yeah, that's important. But at the same time, you got to have some type of features too on your console. You can't just have it bare bones like Switch kind of.
Oh no, I get it to you. I get that to you, fam. Go ahead, somebody. I'm sorry.
You're right. They do need features and things, but you have to also look at one thing like this. Okay, Xbox got all these features and shit and didn't put out any games for it. Okay. Wait a minute. Then you got to think about it like this. Everybody's saying all these features are important and everything. The Switch is still selling. The Xbox isn't. If the features were that important, then nobody would be buying them.
How about this, nobody? And we got to get the biggest knife in the jaw. No. We got to get the biggest knife in the jaw and put the bullshit out, right? Okay, just because something is selling, right, doesn't mean that it's right. We just talking about me. They say gaming is a very selfish hobby, right?
Thank you.
Could you imagine if Sony came out there? Let's just be fair. Could you imagine if Sony, the PlayStation came out, right? And they didn't have the modern features, they would get slammed in the goddamn media, right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah,
If they didn't have trophies, if they voiced, voice chat went mandatory. Listen. Check out this is the crazy part, right? When it gets a little spooky. I'm not asking to have God of War on the Switch or nothing crazy, right? I'm just talking about the basic shit. You know what I mean? This the bare bones, the essentials, right? To say that those features are not important, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, he said, my man, what you gonna say? They're gonna say that's asinine. Like, they get a pass for that shit because they're Nintendo and they have, how you say, these beloved.
But you know why that is though? Also, when it came to game like Call of Duty and stuff like that, everybody think about PlayStation and Xbox, right? Nintendo was not part of that. So when it comes to Nintendo, we don't even really look at it like on the Xbox. That's why they get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's what it's all.
Like,
I could agree with that.
And shit like that, you probably look at it like, you know what? I understand. Like, for some strange reason, when it comes to Nintendo, we don't include it or like Sony and Microsoft.
Also, no, you gotta take it a step further. I'm sorry, I didn't take with you guys, so we got some fun though. Check it out, so Bunny, check it out, right? We gotta take it one step further, and this is also an issue for them, right? Mm-hmm. How could you put out a next generation console, right?
Oh shit!
They can't run any next generation games or handle any next generation engines, right? So the problem again with Nintendo, they worry about this problem for them that their first party really carries it. Zelda, and they all, for those that like, they sell well. Nintendo doesn't converse with third party when it comes to making their hardware. You know what I mean? Sony and Microsoft, hey, this we plan to be working on. What are you guys working on? You know what I mean? They go back and listen again. You know what I mean? So Nintendo guys like to go on this echo chip. Oh, now third party just hating on fucking Nintendo.
But next gen, do they need to do that when they software is selling though? Do they need to do that?
Their software is selling, absolutely, right?
All I'm gonna say right now, hold on, because we gotta get to the topics. Next gen, I understand what you're saying. Snow Bunny, I understand what you're saying. Simple as this: they're giving the fans what they want. If it was shit, listen. If it was shit universally, if that's what you're even trying to imply, the game. Listen. The game system and the software would not be selling. The game system. Hold on.
Right.
The game system, right? The Switch and the games, the software, right? You might not like all of them, but they're selling. And guess what? Hold on. Guess what they're doing for Nintendo? They're making Nintendo money. Because Nintendo's not dropping the price of the games or putting them on Game Pass for $1. And listen to this. They still had their system at $300 and it beat the Xbox One on Black Friday.
I don't care. Listen. I don't think you.
So look, I understand what you're trying to say, but it's not for. Listen, the system's not for you.
It's not what I'm saying, big brother.
But it's still doing
listen,
what
my God fan brother. Listen, I'm gonna slow it down for you, right? All right, and the Wii U is exclusive, right? Let's be clear. This all the Mario Kart, all that shit has always sold. Let's be clear that they've always sold. You know what I mean? What does Nintendo strive at? Handhelds, right? Right? What's the difference between the Switch and the Wii U? The Switch is fully portable and motherfuckers can take it on the go. Right? The Switch is, if you look at the Wii U's library, they've always had highly critically acclaimed exclusives that always sold well. What's always been lacking as of late on Nintendo is the quote-unquote the third-party support. Now, how about this, No Bunny? If we're talking about sales, could you imagine the sales of that console? Because sometimes motherfuckers can't afford to have. I'll put it to you like this, right? Motherfuckers look at Switch as their side console, right? You don't have too many motherfuckers look at it as their main console because, again, it doesn't get a lot of third-party support as far as the big multiplats, right? You know what I mean? And again, if you talking about friendly, motherfuckers released The Witcher old ass game 3 years ago for $60 goddamn. Looks like shit, but I say that to say this, right? I'm not negating about the sales. Nintendo's handhelds have always sold. Their exclusive has always sold. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they get a pass because the Nintendo. I'm asking you guys as PlayStation fans or whoever the hell, you know what I mean? Would Microsoft or Sony get the same passes as Nintendo if they come out that motherfucker and you couldn't download a Netflix apps. All hell would break loose.
If I interject for a second?
Yeah, I'm saying all hell would break loose.
All right, so you already know how it works on YouTube when it comes to Nintendo fans. They always get a pass on everything, and it's because
that's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying what's sold on Black Friday. I don't even know.
They always get a pass.
But what I'm saying, you JTech, maybe whenever you hear you guys, maybe get in my. I
understand where he's coming from, Jay.
He wants Nintendo to get with the times.
Why is that so hard or frowned upon?
The reason it's not hard. It's perfectly fair.
Or why is it frowned upon? Or it doesn't matter because the game's like Baron would say, that's asinine. It is important.
But here's the one thing you have to remember. The one thing you have to remember is Xbox and PlayStation fans, the people who buy their consoles and things, there are a total different genre of people who buy the Nintendo platforms. Now, yes, they have Nintendo as their side bitch, just like you said. They keep it as their side bitch. Because it is their side bitch, they don't expect it to do all the things their main bitch do.
Okay, but here's a question. Okay, how about this, right?
Let's be real,
right? We're all adults here, right? Not everybody can afford to own multiple consoles, right? Am I right or wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, could you imagine what their sales would be like if they were able to get everything like their competitors and have just the basic shit? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But again, like, or what? That is the problem, right? The fact that motherfuckers look at it as this side bitch. Let's think about this. Motherfuckers that had a NES, right? This is look how far they come. Like motherfuckers, how could you look at Nintendo as a side bitch? That was your main goddamn console. Your Super Nintendo, that was your main console, not the side bitch.
Z, that's the way it is now. Z, that's the way
it doesn't have to be.
This generation alone, man, it's more people out there that have more than one console than any other generation. It's so everybody, damn near 90% of the people on this panel got more than one console, bro.
Yeah, we're adults.
Exactly. Yeah, we're adults. Half of us is adults.
Yeah. The point he's trying to make, though, Nintendo had it all. Now they have.
Now they're at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, now they have like a third of everything.
Hell no, they're not at the bottom of the barrel.
I wouldn't say at the bottom of the barrel. That's actually putting it too.
I'm talking feature wise at the bottom of the barrel. I'm not talking about overall.
If you look at the complete package,
this might talk some shit.
That's me. It's your boy.
Who?
What's going on, man? Boca Loga 320.
Who's talking right now? Is that Big Cloud Gaming?
Yeah, that was Ryan.
That was Ryan.
Who's Big Cloud Gaming? I thought that was the Big Cloud Gaming talking.
That was Ryan.
Oh yeah, you're making sense. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now they have a third of the pie, baby.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this, and to Snow Bunny, I know you're kind of I guess from talking to you now, you're sympathetic to them and the Wolves. What I'm saying is, or whoever, before you move the topic along, is why is it okay for them to do it, right? And they get a pass. All I'm saying is this: could you imagine the PlayStation 5 launch or the Xbox Scarlet with no voice chat, man? How you say no voice chat, mandatory, static within the box, without adding your cell phone? All hell would break loose. You know what I mean? Listen, before we stop, I'm gonna shut the fuck up, right? And just be real. Could you imagine gaming, right? If there was only Nintendo, if these motherfuckers still were leading, what you talking about? You know what I mean? And not to take nothing away from what they've done, but gaming has grown so much, and just what we can do with the different, voice chat, streaming, just that and the other, right? Like literally, could you imagine if it was only Nintendo and how fucked up we would be, how stagnant we would be in terms of moving.
But actually, if it was only Nintendo, nobody would be bitching about these things because nobody would know about it.
But that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, that's just how you have to look at it. If it was only Nintendo, then nobody would be bitching about
gaming would be boring.
You can say that. No. You can say that because you had the crash that would happen with the Atari and them. When it was only them, and shit wasn't innovating. The gaming market crashed. You know what I mean? So you can't just say that it would still be riding high. But what I'm saying at the end of the day is, if we're going to be realistic, and I'm going to shut the fuck up, I promise this last thing, right? Motherfuckers can, I give you, not to maybe I use it as an example, right? A black person gets shot and we out there and, right again, we out there, right? We marking the streets, right? Right? Same shit, still motherfuckers still getting gunned down, right? All right, so back in the South, motherfuckers couldn't ride in front of the bus, right? Motherfuckers picketing, they was having sit-ins and all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what changed that law? What's because they were being vocal and marking down the street is when they stopped spending their money, right? When they stopped spending that money and it affected the bottom line, the dollar, that those laws change. So I'm saying to whoever diehard friend, if you want, because if you want your company, they gotta say to the Xbox guys to do better, right? You gotta go out there, motherfucker, and voice your opinion with your dollar, which really counts if you want things to change, right?
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Just being real, that would be dope. You know what I mean? And for them, to have Red Dead, you know what I mean? All these great games, that multi-plat games that are out, that can never run on the Switch, right? Because it's not powerful. Mario 2 Snow Bunny, this is a 9th generation console. Do you think Microsoft or Sony would got a pass if they released the console weaker than last generation's hardware? Just think about what we're saying.
No, I understand what you're saying, but the thing is you have to also look at the people who buy it. The main people I hear bitching and moaning about it are people who either have a Switch as their side console and not their main console. Those are the main ones I hear complaining about it.
This is the next gen and Ryan on the panel. Let me ask you something. You just said something. If Nintendo Switch had all these features, would it be number one in the sales? You saying it's over the PlayStation? Is this what y'all saying?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it got in this console race 2 years ago, and look, no disrespect. I know it's a lot of Xbox fans here, or used to be Xbox fans, so you might get a little salty. But the fact of the matter, in 2 years, with none of the features that you guys care about, right?
Okay.
With none of the big AAA multi-platform games that you guys care about, how the hell did a handheld hybrid?
I'm gonna answer your question.
How the hell did it outsell an Xbox One that had been out on the market for 4 years prior?
I'm gonna answer your question, right? Right? We're gonna be realistic with this, right? Microsoft they stopped releasing AAA games, right? But that's like asking you to compare the sales of the 3DS, Nintendo's number one selling handheld, outsells the consoles. This is a fucking fact, right? It's a fucking fact. The Switch is a fucking handheld, right?
Yeah,
it's a fucking handheld. All right, so again, when they do the MPD, we gonna call it a JTech, right? Listen, man, I'm surgical with this bitch. I'm good at what I do, bro. Hear me out, right? When they do the MPD, right? And we look at this fucking who came in first for the month, this, that, and the other, right? What do we look at? We look at the Xbox, Nintendo, right? So the Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, who came in at the top three. We don't even look at the 3DS, right? That doesn't count, right? But this is their handheld. Let's be clear, this is a fucking handheld. Right?
It's a handheld, but it's a handheld in disguise. And let's just be honest. Hold on. The only reason why the MPD will consider it a console is because it does have a feature that can hook up to a TV.
The Switch Lite, you can't hook up to a TV. It's a fucking handheld.
No, I'm not talking about the Switch Lite. I'm talking about the normal Switch.
That's still a Switch.
It's a fucking dock that you click in, bam. You can hook your Vita up to a TV. That doesn't mean anything.
No,
it's
you
fucking
handheld. You can't. No, hold on. You can't. Actually. You can hook your PSP up to a TV. You can't hook up your Vita to a TV.
Hold on.
You can't do
that. Okay, but I'm not dealing with semantics. That doesn't. Or you can hook your tablet up to your TV. That doesn't make it a home console.
That's better.
Let's be fucking.
It makes it a console to the people that's keeping score.
No, it's not. It's a fucking handheld.
It's a fucking handheld.
Well, you gotta tell them that, man.
I ain't gonna tell them. Listen, but I'm saying, listen. There's one thing about me, right? Without the theatrics, when it comes, listen, I ain't gonna cap for some shit I don't lie, and I'm not gonna lie about video games. It's not that serious to me. We can all have a difference of opinion, and I don't think no one's opinion can be wrong. But the Switch is a fucking handheld, all right? And what did Nintendo do? They were smart, and what they're good at, and kudos to them. You know what I mean? That they didn't say it at first, but the Switch is the successor to the fucking 3DS. It's a fucking fact, right? You know what I mean? It's a fucking fact.
I thought it was more of a success to the Wii U because the Wii U was trying to do the same thing.
But it wasn't fully mobile. But there's no 3DS. It wouldn't have been. It's only this is the way that they're going, and I'm not knocking them for that. But all I'm asking is in the question. I'm not even talking about sales. Wait
up, next gen.
Yes.
You just said something wrong.
What I say?
How the hell you gonna say the Switch is a successor to the 3DS when it's clearly a successor to the Wii U? They tried this same Switch formula with the Wii U, so it's actually a successor to the Wii U.
Okay, are you ready for this? Hey, listen, I'm sorry, G. I was going to take. I did this to you, right? Initially, Nintendo was saying that the Switch wasn't a successor to the 3DS. That's what they were saying, right? That has now went away, right? So I'll give you an example. When the Wii U, one of the main issues with the Wii U that the Switch didn't have, this is coming from Nintendo, that they said that they didn't know that it took that long to make high definition gaming. And one of the things that hit the droughts with the Wii U was the low, how you say, in software. They would go months without, whatever without games. And you have other console droughts, right? So the Switch has not suffered from that. You know what I mean? It's basically, they took the Wii U library, brought it over. We know what we do. So they took all the developers in-house, whatever they only had. So they went from the 3DS making games, whatever, aesthetically, to everybody's working on one thing. Nintendo never really had that before. You had the handheld division, you had the console division. Now everybody in Nintendo, they're all working on one platform, right? So they're able to pump out games faster than what they did before, right? So again, but just looking at, but again, it's still shit is shit.
So basically, you're telling me two different, platform divisions combined. That doesn't really... It is. Yeah, but that doesn't really explain you saying, hey, the Switch is a successor to the 3DS. It's the next system for Nintendo behind the Wii U. That's simple. Now it doesn't matter if it has handheld successor games that used to be on 3DS and are getting remastered on the Switch. It's still their next in line. Now we don't know what they're gonna do next, but that's their next in line. That's how it goes.
Wait. Hey, y'all, look, I ain't trying to cut nobody off. I ain't trying to cut you off.
He about to get choked out on his own show. He about to get choked out.
I'm just pointing it out. I mean, we don't know what they're gonna do next, but I'm sorry. It's all right to be wrong. I'm wrong too sometimes. It's all right to be wrong. No. Look. It's no hard feelings. It's all right. It's all right to be wrong, whether you're on your show or you're on my show. It's all right to be wrong, man. Don't have no hard feelings about it. Everybody's wrong sometimes, man.
Listen, what didn't you understand, or what was I wrong about that you don't understand?
All you said was, "Hey, the Switch is a successor to the to the 3DS." That's not true.
What is as far as a handheld?
Yes, it's handheld. Bumped up with the handheld.
It's a handheld. If you want to be
what I will agree with is they know handhelds is their strong suit, so they made their following system a fucking hybrid.
Realistic. Jay, you gotta be a little realistic here. The Switch is basically the successor to the 3DS in a weird way because they already make iterations. It's turning into.
It's actually a successor to both.
All I'm gonna say, they basically all I'm gonna say, they told everybody that they were gonna go this route.
Here's the thing too. I can't even say it's both because remember it's gonna be sooner or later that they're gonna discontinue the original and they're gonna be all portable at this point. Because remember they have the option.
Hold on, y'all gotta remember. Even Nintendo themselves said they was gonna combine both of the divisions, man.
I agree with that. But I'm just saying, with the Wii U, they basically told you with the Wii U where they want it to go. They literally had this feature where
living room. They want to be everywhere, basically.
Yeah, basically, they didn't want you to have to be restricted to the TV.
Okay, how about this? Okay,
you can't dock the Switch Lite.
Listen, this is my man. We'll deal with the semantics. Let's have fun with this, right? Ready for this?
Wow.
All right. Theoretically, yes. This is their again. They set a console, right? But whatever. But we all know what it is, right? But what I'm saying to you, right? And again, because first Nintendo was saying that the Switch wasn't a successor to the 3DS, right? That they still was going to make a 3DS, and I said bullshit. That kind of defeats the purpose because you're going to cannibalize your own market. You already have, the handheld, and you got another handheld. It just doesn't really make any sense, right? The Switch, let's be real. I mean, with the Wii U, I'm sorry, even though you can game on a second screen, like, it's totally different from what the Switches does. You can, truly go on the go. You can take your game with you, your home on the go. You know what I mean? All right. Now, what I'm saying is this. Nintendo has always thrived when in their handheld. So now you got everybody at Nintendo. It used to be the handheld sector and then the home console sector. You got all that together now in one house, right? And one of the things, and again, to read what I was saying before, Nintendo's exclusives have always been rated high, and they've always sold well. Even if their hardware didn't, you know what I mean? Mario Kart, Toad, all those games have always sold well, right? So that's nothing new. They've always done that, right? And I'm not even talking about sales, but when I'm asking you, if you're gonna be honest here, when we do the fan, when we look at the MPD every month, you see Nintendo or Sony, just that and the other, right? So say the 3DS came in front, right, first, right? We wouldn't talk about that. We would say PlayStation was number one for the month, right? So we're not talking about the handhelds, right? Just be. Are we be honest here?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's we like you said, sometimes we have to be honest, right? But again, they got that caveat because quote unquote this their quote, but it's in handheld. Before we wouldn't compare the 3DS sales to the PlayStation 3 or the 360 or to the PS4 to the Xbox. They handhelds have always fucking sold. Fact. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, this is, and again, and the pitfalls of the Wii U was the lack of fucking software. They would go months without games, and this is a fucking fact. So you don't have that issue in the way from first party in house with them. You know what I mean? They're able to turn around and be doing the same type of shit. I'm not knocking those that like it. See, here's the thing. I can be subjective or objective. Just because it's not for me, but I can also give credit where credit is due. All I was initially asking for hit the fan, would Sony or Nintendo, or Microsoft get those same passes?
No,
you know what I mean?
You right on that. You right. They want. Hey, check this out. Hey, the chat want to get post up. Hey, post up. Check this out, bro. I'm gonna leave out for a little bit, bro. You can come on in. Post up.
Why do y'all leave out?
Limit. I think it's a limit.
Hey, why you got a limit on this shit, man?
I don't have a limit. You got.
He should be able to jump in if there's no limit.
Yeah, there's no limit. You should be able to jump in.
But it is a lot of people in here. He said
man, sit your drunk. You want to get drunk, nigga? Sit your drunk ass right here.
Come on, post up. Come on in, bro. Come on in, post. Come on in.
We about to turn this motherfucker up.
Triple B style.
Hey, Jay, come on.
Let's get off Nintendo because I don't support that.
Yeah, we've been talking about Nintendo for about 3 hours now.
Let's talk about Xbox. What can they do? Let's talk about Xbox. We got like half of the panel is Xbox.
I said move on to another topic now. Don't get Nintendo now.
Don't go there.
That's that shit, Nep.
I got the board, man.
Talk that shit.
Fuck is wrong with y'all? Listen, man. Listen. I got the ball man bullies in here. What we do? We bully. We don't lose. We take the book.
Shit up in here.
Considering he's up here sporting that Pokemon, so anything.
Not like this.
Hold on. One thing about the Pokemon Snow Bunny, I've been meaning to ask you. So you mean to tell me I can't play with Lugia or none of them? No legendaries,
you can't play with them. So motherfucking what?
I haven't gotten to the legendaries, but I've seen some of them in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the game, but you can't play them.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Come on.
Let's get on the show.
They basically lock content. They lock content. That's basically what they did.
Right, you're gonna have to pay for them later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's trash. Okay.
And their fans accepted, so they got away with it.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, but
we got everybody. We got Buck that up in here with man. Hold on, bro. We need to let these motherfuckers take over our podcast.
Look. I want to fight, so
Hey, J-Tech, you made it a hot line. I made it a hot song. All right, you niggas ain't doing it right. We gotta be honest here.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. Since we got all the broadband bullies, we got all the Xbox fans, or we got a Xbox veterans. I don't give a fuck who you guys are.
Hit the like button. Everybody, listen, hold on. We got 50 more goddamn likes. Hit the goddamn like button, man. Show my man some love. It'll cost you nothing. Hit the goddamn like button.
Break next gen show.
Might want to read that donation, by the way.
Elijah Parker.
We got a donation.
Mr. Parker. Hey, Parker. Look. You gonna drop? Listen. You gonna drop him $2 in super chat, right? But you don't drop no money in my chat, or it's personal now. No. How about this? You to get on somebody else's thing, but you won't face me in Call of Duty with your little bitch ass. Shout out to my man, Mr. Parker. Shout out to Parker. We want to. I'm calling him out. I'm sorry, but what's your next topic? I'm sorry to go on that rant, but the initial question, whoever asked me that question, I'm my man J Love. And two, listen, I'm gonna drop the link to my could you spot me a solid JayTech? Could you spot me a solid?
A solid what?
Could you make me no money or anything? Could you make me just give me a wrench real quick? You can take it back so I could drop the link to my Twitter. A lot of people are asking me about my Twitter and
send it in Discord.
What you asking?
I didn't even know that was
I was asking you. Yeah. I was asking you. Could you make me an admin right quick so I can drop the link to my Twitter? Is what I'm asking. You can take it right back.
Do that. Not to this one.
You can have it back, brother. I just want to drop the link to my Twitter.
The link to what?
My Twitter.
His Twitter account. His new Twitter account.
Okay.
I say, can you make it?
So you come on Twitter.
You can take it right back, bro. I'm just saying.
You talking about on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, bro.
You got a comment first.
Oh, okay. Hey, you gotta listen. You gotta step about that. You gotta step about go outside.
I'm talking about the Discord, man. I'm talking about the Discord. We only got one link. This is Discord only for the podcast. We don't.
Okay, bro.
What's the next topic?
I just
got a lot of topics. Phil Spencer Game Pass drama is.
Hold on. Could you do that right now before we get along? I just typed something asking for my Twitter.
JayTech said he don't trust you. You're a bot.
I wouldn't. I didn't want. In this Discord, man.
Let's talk about Phil Spencer, the Game Pass drama. He said the control is going to Game Pass, and then the developers came out and said, no, it's not. First of all, I don't care if you're cheap as fuck at this point in time, because that's what they're programming you to do, to pay $1 for Game Pass or whatever you're going to do. And you don't want to pay $60 games because you think that's not fair anymore. I don't know, where you've been and where you started gaming, but it's a stupid notion. First of all, you hurt that developer. Sir, seriously. I don't care if it's going to Game Pass in January, February, March. By you announcing it early.
You gonna hurt the developer now?
Well, hold on. Let me finish. You hurt the developer by saying that game is going to Game Pass. At that point in time, the Xbox community doesn't feel like, if they haven't already paid for the game, to pay for the game that's coming up holiday. So instead of buying this game on the holiday when it's a little bit cheaper, they're going to say, hey, I'm not going to buy this game because it's already been leaked out that it's coming to Game Pass.
Listen, so what is your question? Do I think it's coming? Yes. Maybe he should have spoke to someone, but what do I mean, to be real, game in what we call Control is coming to Game Pass, right? Maybe shout out to Young Boy Gift, who's a big support on my channel, right? Shout out to him, he's over here now with you. So what you're saying, I just think maybe he probably spoke too soon. I don't come on. So this man hit a between. Is he lying about it?
He has to keep the subscription strong on Game Pass going into the holiday season. If he does not have that it game, when you already have games like the Halo collection, including Reach, you have Gears of War 5, you have Battletoads coming up soon. I don't know who cares about that, but of course you're gonna need the next big AAA multi-platform game.
Control ain't never been big. I got it. I bought it.
It's big enough for people to express excitement about not paying for it.
I mean, listen, just being real, it didn't sell well. If we're gonna be honest, right?
Yeah, it didn't sell well. It was a flop.
I like it. I'm not saying. I mean, I like it, but the question, like, I don't know, like if it's like this. Right now, I know you don't have an Xbox, but listen. Here's the disclaimer. Microsoft first-party games outside of Gears, Forza, and Halo as of late been trash. I give Outer Worlds, they hit a good 1-2 combo. Boom, Gears, then Outer Worlds. Even though it's in other platforms, right? But there's a lot of great third-party content in Game Pass. You know what I mean? It's one thing I won't do. Like I said, I ain't gonna cap in this Xbox thing. If you don't have an Xbox, but there's a lot like motherfucker that you don't have an Xbox, and you get that motherfucker for $1, brother. It's all they got all types of shit in that motherfucker. Devil May Cry 5 and what's the last goddamn?
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about a new game. I'm talking about a new game to add to the service. Nobody's talking about the games that are already existing. We're talking about Control being a new game that was not confirmed by the developer and probably going to be coming out. I don't know. It's probably in January for Game Pass. So I think he acted a little bit too early. Which is it's very strategic for Phil Spencer because you want people to buy in to Game Pass for the holiday season. So like I said, you need a new AAA multi-platform game to be a poster child for the selling holiday season. Let me keep the subscription to Game Pass because I can wait for Control. So I just think he acted a little bit too early.
Oh yeah, well listen, I will agree with this. That maybe it wasn't supposed to be announced, but it's coming. But I'm also even shout out to David Jackson. He touched on Game Pass is hugely successful. It is what it is. Like I mean, it's we're gonna be honest, and it's a hell of a service. You know what I mean, I can't wait to Sony get something similar. Everything all together, all these goddamn games. Outside of their first party content has been trash. They got a lot of third party bangers in that motherfucker, right? They do. That's just a fucking fact. But did he speak too soon? Yeah, maybe the loose was on the goose. I mean, maybe it wasn't supposed to be announced next month. Or I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think he would just come out and just lie. And also too, to be honest with you, I don't anybody beating down nobody door for Control either. Like I mean, like anybody like. I don't even think it charted the first.
Hey man, Phil always say dumb shit at dumb times, man. He is that's his thing now. He just keeps saying dumb shit.
Like I said, it's very good though. It's good for him. Yeah. You gotta make sure people stay subscribed to Game Pass or join Game Pass for this Christmas holiday season. So again, a new game. We're not talking about Need for Speed. We're not talking about Call of Duty, but still, Control is a very new game. Yes, it didn't sell well on its own, but it is a new game. If people know it's going to Game Pass, they don't need to unsubscribe for the holidays.
Here's also too though. They pay them. I don't know, like Devil May Cry 5, but they cut the check. Yeah, they cut the check. You know what I mean? They so just you just so they get paid. Microsoft pays them to put their games up there. You know what I mean? And change game offers continue to spark, and also which they did, they combined it with Xbox Live and all that other shit. So I think it's $13 with $14, $15 a month. I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? It just comes out. It is what it is.
And it's another thing that people got to realize, man. Don't get it confused with the first party.
Yeah,
Microsoft don't pay their first party games to be on their own system, man. Those guys already get a paycheck, man. People be thinking that they be paying for their own fucking, like they pay the studio to put Halo on there. No, they don't do that.
Let me, if I could jump in for
shit.
Hit that like button, y'all.
Look, man, I see all the time on Twitter, man, Sony fans and everybody trying to trash Game Pass.
Good show.
As if we don't go in our daily lives into store looking for discounts when we go buy shoes, clothes, or any other thing. Ooh. As if your wife doesn't walk into Jewel's with coupons to buy certain foods because this guy. Look, this notion that it's a discount pass and that paying $1 to get access to a service is bad, and then paying $60 for a full service is, oh man, I pay $60 for my game. You ready to get? Look, Game Pass is an option, right? You have the ability to rent games, right? You have access to games that you probably wouldn't have played in the first place or even paid for. But you have an opportunity to pay that content. And then on the back end, you have an option to pay for that, to own that content outside of Game Pass, just in case you don't continue with the service itself. So what, 9 million, 10 million subscribers? It's setting up for next generation. Every next gen first party game will be there. At one point, people were saying third parties would not buy into it. They will not put their content there. It's there. xCloud will be moving in to Game Pass free of charge. So this is a consumer-friendly service that's being clowned and frowned upon, and I don't understand it.
So basically, you a cheap ass. Basically, you a cheap ass gamer. Basically, that's what we going at. Like everybody just go get Game Pass, and we're gonna stop buying it. Well, I'm sorry. The Xbox community will stop buying games. They will just buy in a Game Pass. They're not gonna do.
The Xbox community are not stop buying games. Though.
Whoa! I couldn't tell. We don't get sales reports. We don't ever get sales reports or what games sell. Like how do we know you buy games when Phil Spencer's afraid to talk about the sales numbers?
Let me ask you something.
Look, you about to sidestep, so I know you're not gonna tell me the truth. So don't even fucking talk. Don't even fucking talk if you ain't gonna talk about no sales numbers.
You about to get this
work. Hey, hit that motherfucking like button. Today is the day. Hit that motherfucking like button.
Let me tell you something with these sales numbers. Look, make no mistake that this has been a fucked up generation for Xbox, right? So in the sales numbers wise, why would you promote something you're not doing good in? That's just business. This has been we gotta accept the fact that this hasn't been a great generation for Xbox. Okay?
How do we know if a game is doing good when you just getting it on Game Pass? How do we know?
Look, Jay, I don't care about sales. I don't know if Phil said Gears 5 outsold Gears 4, and Gears 4 wasn't even in Game Pass when it launched.
And also the controllers coming to Game Pass, and also Phil said he had installed it at the house.
Numbers were posted, and they didn't do well.
Yeah. Look, anything Phil says, these guys gonna fucking believe. So don't matter. Phil is Messiah, y'all.
The numbers.
The Master Chief Collection is in Game Pass, but yet. The Master Chief Collection is in Game Pass, but yet it just sold 1 million on Steam.
2 million.
I mean,
that's fucking PC. Wait up. So Steam. So Microsoft owns Steam now?
No, I'm not saying.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're bringing up 1 million sold on another platform.
Let me what I'm saying is
one time.
Let Ryan say something.
One time.
All right, full stop. You say game. All right, full stop. You say Game Pass is an option, right?
Yes.
How long do you think it's going to last as an option?
It's going to last a long time. It's going to
a long time.
That's why the industry That's where the industry is going. It's about software and service.
So you said the industry's going into software and services, right? Okay. And you said this is going to be lasting as an option, right? For a long time. You don't think this is going to replace the Xbox as itself when Xbox in general, the brand, the console, is being treated as a separate thought by Microsoft?
It will.
Look,
their main thought. Hold on, let me finish. Their main thought, their main source of pushing everything has been strictly Game Pass. Everywhere you go, all their major titles is strictly Game Pass.
I'm talking about
nothing in the first party catalog is highlighted. Is strictly Game Pass.
What's the point behind that? What's the point?
What's the point of that? We buy the consoles for the games, do we not?
Exactly.
No, hold on. Let me tell you something. Let me explain. Let me rebut what you just said.
Okay.
I just said the industry is changing. You guys got to get out of this traditional. I know you all are afraid of change. Hold on. I know you all are afraid of change. Okay,
especially JayTech.
but this is just not a Microsoft thing. Pretty soon, when Sony get their infrastructure in place with Azure, where they have data centers all over the world, where they'll be able to connect closest to their customers, which PS Now was preventing them to do, they're going to follow that same model. I don't know if there's going to be a next PlayStation. Look, the hardware doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter where you play because these companies want to allow you to play wherever you want to play. Wherever you want to play. It's about the ecosystem. The hardware doesn't exist. It's about the ecosystem. Not the future.
So to piggyback on what you just said, right? Post up. You already know me. Post up. Cool. It's all good. But to piggyback off what you said, the industry's changing, right? And everything's going services and software based, right? We don't need consoles. That's what you're saying, basically. We don't.
I'm not saying we don't need consoles. No, the consoles will still be there.
The way you're pushing Game Pass is bad for everybody. See, it's good as not. But the way it's being pushed by everybody in this community, especially
no. What's so bad about Game Pass? You know what?
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I know.
I'm
gonna break some legs today.
Hold on, folks. We are guests over here. We gotta relax. Shout out everybody that showed up because of me. Shout out everybody that checked out of here, man. We average 50 bucks. Shout out everybody that they showed up because of JayTech was humble enough to allow the broadband bullies up to be our guests there. So we are going to wipe the door off our shoes before we get. But I want to hear I want to hear what Big Gap Crowd Gaming is saying. Because if you can, I want to rebuttal what he's saying. I want to hear the man clearly. I want you to say it again. You said it's not healthy or it's not good the way they're pushing this.
It's not healthy to push all your games day and date on a service when you're trying to sell a new piece of hardware. Granted, you already just tried to sell a new piece of hardware with the Xbox One X, right? It's bad to try to push a software like this. Now, granted, let's say Xbox One, actually not even Xbox One. Let's say Scarlet was already out, right? And they just started to do this shit before, like after the shit was done. It'll be fine. But for them to push it day to day on the server.
Okay, let me run it back because I wanted to just address. You're saying a lot. What you said is bad. With the action. Say that one more time.
Yeah, because we're gonna break some pony legs today.
Put all your games day and date on the server.
Okay.
Hold on. Post the next. I want to hear what you're saying. So you said it didn't help the X, or it's not helping the X, or it didn't help the X's part. So here's the thing, right?
That's why they changed the whole mantra. The whole mantra.
Let's be fair. Okay, here's the thing, right? There's one thing again. They say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, right? All right. Now, again, the reason why the X didn't sell well, or whatever the fuck the case may be, you released a $5 console without any games to take advantage of that $5 goddamn console. This is the issue. Gonna be real clear here. They released that motherfucker. I did a read about yesterday. They released that motherfucker alongside Disney Rush, Zoo Tycoon, all Xbox One enhanced, right? Gears of War 5 was the first game they released. They take fully, and 2 years later, right? I'm not taking up for them. I'm just being, he said, calling the ball the ball, strike the strike. To showcase what the console can do. And listen, if we're going to be fair, we're going to be honest, right? Is the Xbox software, the games they putting out, trash. But the Xbox One X in itself and the things that you can do, the HDR, Dolby Vision, it's a hell of a goddamn console. And it's a sad shame that, again, they didn't fully support the motherfucker themselves, and they have no one to blame but themselves. But so I don't know what you're saying is game, let's be clear this, right? These services, and Sony's doing the same thing also. Right.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
All right, and so people say we always go back to the whole day and date thing, right? And and this was saying this to her. He said, know some people that know some people, right? And I even had the same thing with Porter Rock, right? It doesn't matter day and date, right? It's just an option, right? Because long as Sony, and this is the issue, still releases quality AAA goddamn games, that what fucking matters. All that
People
matters.
gonna buy them.
Yeah, listen.
In service or out of service.
But listen, it's not my show, so I can't share my screen with you. In their investor meeting, right? They did the breakdown. Sony themselves, with the investors. You and I don't count. It's all about the investors, right?
Yeah, of course.
The guy that they have in charge now, Jim Ryan, he's more of a guy like Nadala, where they shit everywhere. It's no, like Microsoft's always been, Microsoft. There's no surprise why they're not just outside of the Xbox, why their stocks. And I don't like to talk about their money and shares. They're $300 a share right now, because they shit is everywhere. They want you within their ecosystem. Now, if you think about this, you got I've been making. You got, before to have Microsoft Word, you had to get a Windows PC or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. You can have that. You can get Windows 10. You can get Microsoft on your TV, on your iPhone, every fucking where, right? Now, to answer your question, right? That's not, well, as far as them promoting that, just like them promoting Xbox Live. Let me listen, and for those that I don't like, again, some people money to say that the only reason why Microsoft is doing that because it wasn't selling or it's not selling. You know what I mean? The reason why the Xbox again stopped selling, whatever the case, because Microsoft started investing in AAA games. We're talking about when you think of when you think of the top 3 wealthiest companies in the world, I'll put it like this: you think of Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. Walmart. Microsoft, Apple, you know what I mean? Verizon, all of them are getting into this model. When I say each and every last one of them, right? When I was doing a show with Porter Rock, and he was saying, well, it's going to hurt the sales, so Spider-Man did 180 million, whatever, to my money right now. When you throw out that figure, that's not 180 million profit. But again, we're talking about recurring residuals, right? You have games right now, right? Well, Madden, I'll give you an example. Madden's on PC, it's in EA Origin, whatever the fuck you call it. It's in EA Access, but you're still going to see it in the top 10 NPD. You got games like Rainbow Six, old as that goddamn game is, right? Ubisoft now has their services. You still see, what do you call it, Rainbow Six on the NPD, right? We're talking about recurring residuals.
Residual income.
It's always about the money, right? Always about the money. And again, if we're talking about how you say still, if you don't think Sony is sitting back, we're talking about, again, the traditional way, right? And again, why Sean Layton, to be honest, well, not even, I can't say this on air because I'm not mentioning this. I had a in-depth, like I said, conversation with David Jeffrey behind the scenes. A few other key people got moved out of Sony and lost their jobs. You know what I mean? That wasn't really publicized. They had a lot to do with the PlayStation division. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm saying them shut the fuck up and not with this new way and what they're going. Because listen, this is a fucking fact. Like, I mean, it is what it is. And they're saying basically what works for today, you have to change and you have to evolve and you have to move with the industry. You know what I mean? That's just the fact. If not, you're going to stay stagnant and not grow. Yes, we sold 100 million consoles, right? But let me ask you guys this question, right? Why is Sony? What was Sony's most successful console generation?
Most successful game?
The sixth generation.
What'd you say?
What was they most successful?
The most successful console was PS2, 150.
PS2. All right, now you guys want to answer one question. Cool, right? They sold 60 million consoles, then 100 million now. Why do you think that the PlayStation division is they made the most money have they ever made in their life in game? What?
Because they had a better product this time.
And they suck in all their other divisions, so they kind of take this one seriously.
That's not what I said. Let's break it down again. Why do you think Sony made as much money now with the PlayStation division than they ever did?
Software.
And services.
And services. Right. So, PSN, PS Now.
I got So again, so if you think like we like the fans or the fanboys get caught. It's not about us. It's always about the dollar. And yes, we get behind these consoles, we root for them like it's our favorite sports game. But we got to realize this, and again, right? This is a business, right? This is a business, and it's always about the money, right? The PlayStation 5, or I'm sorry, PlayStation 4 is not. They're not making them, all that because they sold 100 million consoles. There's no money. Believe it or not, there's no money in the heart.
But you get to the store through the console, dude.
Yeah.
They don't make money off hardware.
No, because also you got different, you got different tariffs in other countries, just and the other. They get you into the ecosystem and they have you pay and buying this and buying skits. That's what the fucking whether you like it. We just talking about basic business 101, right? So again, and Sony, that's what I'm talking about as far as competition, still sharpening steel, right? You know what I mean? So if you have another competitor, right? We gotta be honest with this, right? You have your biggest competitor is Microsoft, right? At the time, like they compete with each other, right? And they're making so much money doing this. Be fair to this, right? Because they are making money. Is the console not selling well as good as we're not saying they fail. It's not doing well, It's not selling well as the PlayStation 4, or it's not selling as well as the Switch. That's a fucking fact, right? The most successful. It surprised the hell out of me. They're selling more SADs than any goddamn thing, which surprised the hell out of goddamn me, right? I thought it was dog shit, right? But don't be naive or get caught up in the feeling or that Sony. No, it's a business. If I can't share my, even looking at that the meeting, I showed the slides and where they're going to get their revenue from. Motherfucker, it says this clear as day, clear and right. It's giving motherfuckers a PlayStation experience without a PlayStation, right?
Without PlayStation.
So when you say, motherfuckers say, well, why Sony doesn't do that right now? They don't have the infrastructure.
Nope.
These are their words on this slide. They said over phone. Just last thing, that they can't handle more than five. I remember when when it first came out, right? You would have to get in the queue to wait to play an old ass game. You know what I mean? That's why they went behind the scenes, and they did find. I didn't even know this. Shout out to David Jaffe. You learn something every day. They did sign the deal with Microsoft for the Azure. Or whatever.
Yeah, we know.
I know.
At first, it was a memorandum.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't
know.
Physically,
they signed the actual contract.
Yeah, I didn't know that again, but I don't care about that. But what I'm saying is that don't be naive again to think that Sony is not going to make money. You know what I mean?
See, I get what you're saying, but you're arguing about what they want to do. This is not what I'm talking about.
No.
I'm saying hold on, Paul. This goes back to the software portion. I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. You're breaking it down. I understand the business. I understand their mindset.
So you say what?
They want to sell. They want to sell the product. I understand that. But I'm saying when you're about to launch a brand spanking new piece of hardware.
Okay.
$500 piece of hardware, right?
Okay.
This is the console. Granted, just launched an Xbox One X.
Okay.
You have an Xbox One SAT edition, right?
Yes.
Now you have an additional 2 that might potentially launch next year.
Okay. All right.
You don't think they don't have to have the software exclusive to that platform to sell it off the shelf?
Oh, no. Are you asking me this?
Look, y'all motherfuckers is brain.
I definitely want to.
I don't care what y'all say, man. Y'all motherfuckers is just really drinking the Kool-Aid. Y'all gotta be drinking the Kool-Aid to think that shit can sell with no gas.
You need to buy any console from Microsoft. Any other game.
Hold on.
Bro, at the end of the day, you have to have exclusives to sell a console.
Listen.
Bro.
Let me say this, right? Okay.
I want to say something.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing, right? If you're asking me that question, you're saying. And I'm with you. I'm not a listen. You don't know. I'm not a fan of no man left behind, no gamer, all that dumb shit. We talked about it yesterday, right? Will there be some cross-gen development at the start of the generation? Yes, right. You know what I mean? Like you had Little Big Planet 3 on the PS3, and it's on the PS4. You had Rise of Tomb Raider on the 360, and on the Xbox One. You know what I mean? You got to realize this, right? And be real. Who goes out and buys these consoles day one are us, the hardcore. You know what I mean? You didn't have the influx of sales on the PS4 or the Xbox until what happened? Until you couldn't buy Call of Duty and all shit on the PS3 and the 360, right?
PS4 sold out in record time.
Dude, yeah.
No.
You couldn't find that shit until next year.
Listen, that's not what I'm saying.
Listen, y'all drinking some heavy ass shit.
Everybody went on the top.
Keeping up with demands.
But listen, let me ask you a question, right? You said the PS4 sold out. All right.
In record time. It's after E3 when pre-orders went live. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if it's still a million, whatever they put out there, right? I said you didn't have the influx of them really selling console. It's until that first price cut, right? And then what happened?
I understand what you're saying, but the influx was still high.
That's not what Brian. Follow me, brother.
The PS4 sales has been strong the whole generation.
Wait up. Next gen, are you saying the PS4 didn't sell until a price cut?
Listen, you guys, listen. We gotta listen. Let me answer the man's question.
Let me answer. But the influx was still high. What do you mean?
Listen, we can sing together, but we can't talk together. I've never said the PS4 didn't sell well. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're not saying that. You know what I'm saying? You're saying the influx sell.
No. Yeah, yes. So this with the I'm just talking about again with the move progression of the generation. And this is historically, you get a big bump in sales, right?
Of course, yeah.
We're talking about just the hardcore, right?
Yes.
We are numbered 25-1, right? By far, right? To give you an example. My man, Florida Rock, right?
Yeah.
A hardcore, right? He didn't get his PS4 until I think Bloodborne came out, or a year later, whatever the fuck the case may be.
Yeah, like something like around Bloodborne.
Okay, all right. But again, when I say influx of sale, like sales, if you look going up, like up. I did not say that this PS4 is that when you couldn't buy Call of Duty and all these big multi-plat games.
Yeah, those are the main sellers. Yeah.
Okay, so again, let's be fair. This is what I'm saying. Be honest, right? So, and if you want to really be honest, it's third party now that dictates the industry. You know what I mean? You get they do. You get all right.
Let me answer.
Let Brian go.
He made a good point.
Big money. You can put hands down. Go sit down. Let me finish my statement.
That's the only reason why we got
my God.
No, I'm trying to help you.
Let me work. You know what time? We battle rapping right now.
Let finish.
You gotta listen to what I'm saying. You hearing me, but you're listening, but you're not hearing me. What I'm saying, okay? When I say third party is what dictates the industry, what I mean by that, before it used to be the Mario or Sonic. It's not about it because again, you get exclusives how many times you get once every 3 months, right?
Yeah, depends. You
get multi-plats every Tuesday, all right? It's a fucking fact. So again, even exclusive wise, right? You see fucking 2K again in the top 10 MPD month after month. You take the greatest game from Sony, right? Whatever that may be, Sony-wise. Spider-Man. It may chart. It's going to chart the first one. You're lucky the second month.
Let me figure out what you just said there, though.
If you really lucky,
hold on. Let me figure out what you just said.
But you're gonna see what I mean. But you're gonna see those same multi-plats again. So again, this is what I'm saying again, right? This is a fucking fact.
Yeah,
more people buy Call of Duty and all that type of shit on the PlayStation than they do God of War, the game of the fucking generation, right? This is a fucking fact. Exclusives don't outsell multi-plats.
And nobody's saying exclusives outsell multi-plats. And also, first of all,
that's what I mean when they dictate the industry. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
That's what this is what I'm saying. Listen, what I'm saying. You understand, right? You mean again? So when I said you had that big, I never said the PS4 didn't sell well, didn't sell out. That's not what I'm saying, big brother. All right.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I know, but you said, whoa, we're sold out this month. That's not what I'm saying, brother.
No, I wasn't referring to you.
I'm saying,
you were wrong. I'm saying it's sold out.
Numbers wise, when we got that's the influx of consumers having to.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. I was saying I was just breaking that to clarity that
I don't make that clear, brother.
Regardless,
No.
Now to go back to what you just said, to piggyback off.
No.
Let me finish. Let you finish. So logically, right? If God of War is exclusive to one platform, you don't think an exclusive or a multi-platform
that's
game
not my argument,
like GTA is going to sell more because it's on multiple platforms?
No.
Multiple.
I'm not
telling me nothing. Wait. Let me finish. Y'all not telling me nothing new. This is nothing new.
Can I interject for a minute?
Listen,
I heard what you said.
Can I interject for a minute because I'm about to go? I'm about to go.
Let everybody talk, y'all. It's people. Eddie ain't said nothing. JayTech ain't said nothing. Manhattan ain't said.
I'm about to leave, so I just want to interject for a minute. I'm about to leave.
I don't think Ryan. Oh, you guys understand? Hold on, call your mother, Maya. Of what I'm saying, because even giving your rebuttal, that's not what I'm saying. Like, you're not. Just let me again, not to take over anyone's show. That's not what I'm here to do, right? But when I'm saying influx of sales, right? And you was like, well, it's always so. That's not, bro. That's the surface. That's with anything. When you get that first part, they go in the industry. They call it this sweet spot. So when we go from 4 to 3, and again, so if it's really about graphics, like this, that, the other, or whatever the fuck the case may be. The Pro will be Sony's #1 selling console, and the X will be Microsoft's #1 selling console. Believe it, the saddest Microsoft's #1 selling console, and the PS4 Slim is Sony's #1 selling console, right? So it's not about, again, because you have both games, because it looks pretty and shiny, of course, on the PS4 and the Xbox One. No, like motherfuckers be getting balling on the budget. It's when you couldn't buy that Call of Duty, that Duty, or that next Assassin's Creed, or that 2K. What I mean? So most motherfuckers besides us only buy 3 or 4 games a year. It's the same shit when you couldn't buy those on the older hardware, so they was forced to either pick a side, whether it's Xbox or whatever else, to get the new Destiny. You know what I mean? You gotta realize that a lot of the big multiplats, which I said was a mistake, were cross-gen at the start of the generation. Whether you like Destiny or not, it's arguably one of the biggest games that came out this generation, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
So nothing new.
So you have a useful. So a lot of them still playing it on their PS3 and their 360, right?
Yeah,
so when the new one came out, you have to. That's what I mean. You had an influx. That's what I mean by as far as third party dictate they do. We know that because one of the biggest multiplats of the year, right, or next year is Cyberpunk, and we know
whatever.
More sales out of that. Cyberpunk, yeah. We know we're gonna get more sales out of it. What's the biggest game in the world?
Yeah, let Post say
What's the biggest game in the world? No, Minecraft, right?
Oh, you talking? Well, no, GTA's makes No.
I don't know. Biggest game in the world is Minecraft. Biggest goddamn game in the world is Minecraft. So it's the number one goddamn game in the world. It's a multi-plat, right? It wasn't other goddamn systems, whatever the fuck the case may be. So, you know what I mean? And again, just like, again, being huge, Minecraft, they have what you call...
GTA 5.
No, they sold... No, Minecraft is... This number one selling game.
GTA 5 made more than that. Just the rep. Just
no.
It made more than Minecraft. So Minecraft
ain't nothing touching Minecraft at this point. Ain't nothing touching Minecraft. I do want to interject before I leave the.
Go ahead. They done booted Nev out the channel. How y'all gonna boot Nev?
I needed Nev there because we kind of got away from the conversation in terms of.
Yeah, we kind of did.
We kind of got away from the conversation.
Hey, after Post, Post, after you talk, let everybody else talk, y'all, because it's only like 3 people.
I understand that. I'm a ball hole. I'm like Kobe, but how you gonna?
Come on, man.
We was kind of talking about. We was
in there talk, man.
Yeah, so I'm
never gave your dog shit so Timber.
Get this fuck out of
here. Yeah, I needed Neff here because Neff was going to prove one of my points. We was talking about Game Pass and this
let my brother back in here.
We was talking about Game Pass and software services.
He said y'all booted him.
but primarily how Game Pass
y'all booted Noah too.
Yeah, Noah wasn't saying nothing. Noah wasn't saying nothing.
Okay, man, finish what you gotta say, man.
Y'all hit that like button.
We gotta get to these topics.
We was talking about Game Pass and its effects on the industry because said it was a negative effect, and somehow software and services is the big question. If you look at it, we're talking about. When I'm speaking in terms of the future, the next.
Yeah, you're talking about the future. You're talking about like in the future where you don't need it. But what I'm saying in the future, right? In the future, when this shit continues to go like this, you're not going to need a console. Period, and the console not even going to exist.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
The reason why I say that. The reason why I say that. Is because companies still want to give you choice hardware-wise on where you decide to play your games. Now, if you're familiar with Kenichiro, are you familiar with Kenichiro Yoshida, who is the CEO of Sony, who said in the article, he said in the article that we are no longer in the penny pinching hardware business, meaning that what they're making on hardware is not there. He's a medallion. He's strictly a software and service guy. The reason why y'all love Sony the reason why y'all love Sony right now is because Sony, and I'm pretty sure Sony would agree with this. They wish that 10 to 20 years ago that they would have invested, if they had the money, that they would have invested in data centers 10, 20, 15 years ago. Because the reason why I say that is because if they did, they wouldn't have to lean on their competitors such as Microsoft, Amazon, or even Google in terms of the choices they made in terms of who they wanted to go with to access their data centers. Right now, PS Now came out in what, 2012, 2013? 2013. Over the 7 years, it's been stuck at 700,000 subscribers.
No.
Over 7 years.
What are you talking about?
Okay, hold on.
They recently hit over a million. Hold on.
It's over a million. What are you talking about?
Hold on.
You said they're still stuck. You said they're stuck at 700.
I said they recently. They recently.
They're not.
I said over. Listen to what I'm saying. Over 7 years.
That's true.
Over 7 years, it's been 700,000. When they allow God of War and some of their first-party PS4 games on the service, and they price cut it, is when it took that leap. So what do that tell Sony? For future reference in terms of when they get their infrastructure in place. Now, the chart that Z was talking about, it said that PS Now was limited to 5 million subscribers, meaning that the service is only able to handle 5 million. If I drop my first-party PS5 games day and date, next gen, my service will fucking crash.
But
I don't have the infrastructure.
Because hold on. Let me for what you're saying right there, that you're contradicting. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of putting their AAAs on a service when they're going to get the revenue back?
Because you know why? You know what the point is? The point is that you're no longer. It's no longer just you, Microsoft, and Nintendo. You having big boys that's coming in the industry that can outspend you.
Hold on. Don't you make it seem like Sony didn't own the market share this whole gen?
That's right. Previous to that.
This whole gen, bro. What are you talking about? They didn't have to be forced to anything.
Let me tell you, that doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. That's what they're doing for market share. The territories. That's what they're doing.
Hold on.
It doesn't matter.
Nigga gets destroyed and saying it don't matter.
Can I explain? Y'all said, let me talk. Y'all said the same thing in the. Hold on. Y'all said the same thing in the PS2 era when y'all showed 160 million and going into the PS. Hold on. They dominated the whole gen, and y'all said Sony is going to replicate that in the PS3 era. That did not happen.
Going back to PlayStation 3. This is now, sir.
Can I make a point? You said market share matter. That same market share in PS2 era did not replicate over to the PS3 era. So what I'm saying is, you can't think that just because they were successful in this era that they just going to dominate in the next gen. It doesn't work like that, brother. If that's the case, from the 360 era, Microsoft should be dominating this gen.
They should.
They got lazy last gen, man. They got lazy at the end.
You want to know why Microsoft is not dominating this gen? You want to know why they're not dominating this gen? They don't have the fucking software.
You're missing
Bro, it's not even the software, bro. The eye of the tiger of
that's the
you're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point.
You're missing the point. What I'm telling you is that
hey, y'all, let Yellow talk. Let Yellow talk. Come on now. Come on.
I'm telling you. Hold on, I'm about to go. I'm just telling you. Before you go, I'm telling you. Nothing is set in stone.
So you make it seem like
nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone.
This is crazy, bro.
Nothing is set in stone.
Okay, but one thing
you gotta lay off that fucking weed.
One thing is for certain, Phil does not have the answers. Okay.
There you go. They don't have the answers.
Listen. Xbox One X is a powerful console, hands down. Point blank. Period. Yes, but it's sad it took them this long to push something out of that nature. Okay. Was it necessary for you to waste that much motherfucking money for R&D on a console that is not selling? That's fucking idiotic.
Who said that? Who say the X is not selling?
The X ain't selling compared to the Pro.
Who say the X is not selling?
Sales number for the Xbox One X. Matter of fact, where's the advertisement for the Xbox One X? Post up. Where's the advertisement for the Xbox One X? Matter of fact,
let me finish, yo.
Hold on. Ryan, let Yellow finish. Yellow, go ahead, Yellow.
At the end of the day, Voodoo Vince is not the answer. At the end of the day, Crackdown is not the answer. At the end of the day, Game Pass is not the motherfucking answer.
There we go. Okay. So this what I would say. This what I would say.
You can sit there and ride that wave if you want to. You can believe
y'all missing the point. Y'all missing the point.
What the fuck?
Y'all are missing the point. Y'all are missing the point. What you guys are doing on this panel is the same thing y'all did in the PS2 era going to PS3. Y'all are claiming a victory. Hold on. You're claiming a victory.
He wasn't even on the internet that fucking generation. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm using it as an look. I'm using it as an example. I'm using it as an example to make a point. You guys came out of the PS2 era saying Sony is going to dominate the PS3 and the 360 era. That did not happen. And now y'all doing it again since they were successful in this era. Y'all are proclaiming that Microsoft.
So you didn't say that for the 360 going to Xbox.
Y'all proclaiming.
Y'all said the same thing about 360 going to Xbox.
Y'all proclaiming that the same thing is going to happen.
What?
Y'all proclaiming that the same thing is going to happen. It's not the
Xbox doing the same shit.
You don't know what's going to happen. All I'm saying is that you guys are claiming a victory, but y'all don't know what's going to happen next year.
Y'all just recently claimed the victory.
What are you talking about?
Y'all said 4K 60
I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you exactly
what are you talking about? What are you
First of all, they did not say 4K 60.
No, y'all played 4K 60. You Xbox is doing 4K 60.
Who is y'all?
Xbox motherfucker said 4K 60 all uncompromised on
game. That's not me, brother. That's not me.
Listen.
Gentlemen. Gang, everybody lower their voice.
There you go, so Brian.
One at a time, because nobody can understand you. I am so fucking lost. Calm down. Take your time.
Ryan, go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
You're talking about the ecosystem,
All right, go ahead,
ecosystem, right?
Golly.
Post, you're talking about the ecosystem, right?
Hey, give everybody a chance to talk, though, y'all. Let everybody get a chance to talk.
Your Post. You was talking about the
I recently just claimed the
right?
victory with Xbox One. It's coming 4K 60 uncompromised.
Look, they did not say. You guys don't read, do
motherfuckers.
They did not say uncompromised.
I don't read the bill.
Tell Jay Tell Jay to play the video. Tell Jay to play the video.
After they said that, Albert Bernella came on the Unlocked podcast and explained what they meant by that. No, he said
that panel said 4K 60 uncompromised.
What they meant by that was that games coming from Xbox One over to
you the homie, and I really do hope you get that job at Xbox. I see what you're doing,
bro.
I can see what you're doing. I appreciate the love, I appreciate the love.
I'm not gonna be able to explain myself, so I'm just going back because I gotta run my girl somewhere. Y'all have a good show, man. Y'all have a good show.
You gotta stay off that weed, man.
Wow. Hey, look,
God damn.
Hey, guys. Hey, can we just please let everybody get a chance to talk in one at a time, y'all? God damn.
Big money. Check this out, bro. Your boy Post was talking about the ecosystem, right? How many people are invested into the ecosystem for the PS4?
You say what? Say that again.
How many people are invested in the ecosystem with the PS4?
Exactly.
I think it's at like 104, 105 million.
Because the nigga's delusional, drinking too much Phil Spencer bathwater. He wasn't trying to comprehend what I was saying. Okay? Do you think these people are going to transition what they have invested in the PlayStation and pretty much pick kiddie ass games like they previously shown of what's coming? Come on, man. That's like common sense, G.
I don't think anybody. What is it? The backyardigans. What's that? The shit with the little kids and they're small in the background.
Yeah, the Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, that. I don't think nobody want to buy a Scarlet. Looking forward to that or fucking what's that? Battletoads.
It's not for Scarlet. It's for the people that
go ahead and preach.
Hold on. That's the Xbox ecosystem, man. That's the Xbox ecosystem.
Let me interject for a second. Let me come at you. You know everybody's gonna buy Honey I Shrunk the Kids on that shit. Stop.
It's on Game Pass.
But see, that's the point. That's your excuse all the time. It's on Game Pass. It don't matter. That's not what's going to stop people from buying Scarlet. When everything that you fucking keep making the excuses on Game Pass, how do you know the fucking difference? It's all garbage.
Yeah,
so wait.
I'm fucking with you, Mo.
So we have Outer Worlds and we have Gears, and then we have like a
that game's on PC and PS4. I don't know why you talking about that.
Why does it matter? It's free on Game Pass.
So I'm gonna buy a Scarlet because of fucking it's on Game Pass?
You don't have to buy a Scarlet.
No, but I'm just saying, what is the selling point of Scarlet?
What's the selling point? What's the point of buying a fucking
Why are you gonna buy a PS5 if you have a PS4?
What? Oh, come on, man. Lay off that fucking Kool-Aid, man. Put the Kool-Aid down, man. Put it down.
Hold on, wait. So wait.
Got a donation, Jay.
Okay, hold on. I got a donation, man.
So you're not gonna be able to play those games?
Let him pay the bill.
Hold on. I got a donation.
It's gonna be backwards compatible with PS4
titles.
Hold on, man. Let me pay these bills, man. Come on. Hold on. Let me pay these bills real quick.
Wait till you pay the bills, then you can go, bro.
Let me pay these bills, man. They say, Z, you took Post to another podcast, and you see how crazy he looked. He talking about One X is selling. Here in the EU, stores don't even sell base Xbox. Hashtag not like this. Laugh out loud. Look, man. Anybody saying that the Xbox One X is selling, you need to stop. You need to fucking stop, man. We know the X ain't selling. It don't matter how powerful it is. We go back to what BitCloud say. It's the fucking content. What Yella say. You can't sell that shit off of Game Pass. Game Pass ain't gonna make you get an Xbox One X. Fucking Battletoads. That's what's pushing fucking Game Pass games. Games that look like Battletoads gonna make me buy a next generation system.
Buy Game Pass. Xbox is not worried about selling an X over a SAD. It's the same money to them. As long as you're getting a box, it don't matter.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Why would we get a new box? Why would we get a new box if that's all we got to look forward to? Why would we buy a Scarlet?
What are you looking forward to next gen?
Why would we have to buy the box? Why don't you just put out an app?
I'm not looking for garbage.
No, on PS5, what are you looking forward to?
God of War.
I'm looking for the future. I'm looking for the future.
I'm looking for God of War.
So
Hold on.
God
of War.
Spider-Man 2?
PS4 too? You don't think Spider-Man 2 is coming to PS4 too?
Oh, come on, man. Are you fucking stupid? Come on, man. You busting your fucking head. Come on, man. Cut that out. Cut that out. This that shit. I was just a fucking Tsushima podcast. You the man.
Nobody's trying to say something.
Y'all some other shit.
So wait a minute. So let me get this straight. Okay, let me get this straight.
Oh shit.
On PlayStation side, we know you have the next gen coming, and we know all the games coming for PS5 will not be able to be played on PS4, which
That's
is
not
common.
true.
With who said it wasn't? Tsunami?
Who said that wasn't true, man?
They always cross gen for the first 2-3 years.
Who said that?
We're not saying it's good. Oh my god.
I don't remember the first 2-3 years. I remember the first year.
I remember Infamous Second Son coming out. I remember Infamous Second Son coming out, and it wasn't on PS3, man. I remember that shit.
That's because PS3 and PS4 had different architecture. They had to. This is gonna be the same architecture.
What up, who? Come on, man. You gotta give me a source. You gotta give me a source. Like,
wait a minute. Tsunami. Let me. Okay, so basically, what, guys, remember last week we were talking about. Wait a minute, Tsunami, quiet. You remember when we were talking about last week how Xbox was saying no gamer will be left behind. And they were saying that the PS5 games will also be able to be played. I mean, not PS5. The Xbox Scarlet games will also be able to be played on the base Xbox. Remember, we were talking about that. Big Money, you were up here saying you couldn't understand why they would do something like that. The way Xbox fans are coming at us saying that all the PS5 games will be also being able to be played on PS4 has got to mean that what this means is true. They expect PS5 to go with the same architecture. That's like with Nintendo. When Nintendo had the 3DS,
it's x86. It's not.
That doesn't mean nothing.
They can't develop for both like they did for PS3.
Okay.
PS3 was a whole different architecture. So when they made a new game, they had to. They couldn't make it for PS3.
So what about the Xbox?
Hold up. Wait a minute. What about between PS1 and PS2? Because none of that shit was cross-gen.
That's old architecture. This is the first gen.
But they were similar architecture.
No.
Like you're saying with these.
This is the first generation that has similar architecture. It's the same exact x86 architecture. They can scale it just like a computer. It's like having a 1080 Ti or 2080 Ti.
So basically what you're saying is... Wait a minute. So basically what you're saying is Xbox is basically putting out the same system. No. What you're saying is Xbox and PlayStation can do the same things. So basically what you're saying is Xbox is putting out a new architecture that's basically a reskin to get all you idiots to buy.
It's x86.
Okay, so basically you're getting the same box over again that y'all going to spend another $500.
These systems are computers at this point. Just like
no. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Can upscale.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
I'm hungry.
So basically what you're saying is you're buying another X.
It's an upgraded version of a system. Yes, it's a PC.
Okay, so if it's an upgraded system, why are they going to keep the games the same for more than a year?
Because you can do that on the PC.
I mean, but the thing is X isn't even using the power they have now.
Have you not seen Gears 5?
Gears was the first game.
Hey, okay,
so only game
and only Xbox exclusive game that showed it.
You can call it what you
I need that weed that he's smoking, man. I need that.
Walk away from that shit, because if it's making these people this psycho, God knows.
I need it, man.
Wait. I understand.
I got a whole work of weed.
That people on PC can play an old ass game and a new ass game with the change of a fucking graphics card and CPU.
That's the same thing. We're not talking about PC people.
Wait a minute. When did PC come into this? We're talking about console.
What?
PC can one
Is this not a Ryzen chip? Is this not a Ryzen chip in there?
Guys, here's the difference. Wait a minute, Tsunami. Here's the difference between PC and console. PC can be upgraded. Console is standard. That's it. You can't upgrade that shit. So you can't compare.
You bring the PS5 and upgrade it to Scarlet. That's the upgrade.
Okay, so you're telling me
you know what she means by that, Suzami. Come on, you know.
An upgrade, but you can't go into that bitch and tinker with it and upgrade it your damn self. Now,
that's why they have mid-gen refreshes. That's what they do.
Oh, so
man, come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta cut it out.
Wait a minute. You're calling the Scarlet and the Scarlet and the Xbox 5 a mid-gen refresh?
No, I said they have mid-gen refreshes with the Pro and the X. Guess what? The first versions were weak. They came out with stronger ones mid-gen. Now they're coming out with a new generation. Guess what? Your upgrade next gen will be.
They planned that though, bro. It was the reason why they did that, bro. Because it was gonna cost too much money to put a hot. They learned their lesson with the PS3 to Zombie. They learned their lesson. They weren't gonna put no high price ass console out there again, bro. They was not gonna put no $600 console out there, bro.
That's not what I'm saying. She said you can't upgrade it like a PC. I said the next gen refreshes are the upgrades. Every mid-gen refresh is an upgrade to the base console. It's a PC.
Tommy, that's the only time that they did that was this generation. We see, did they do that?
This is the first generation of the PC.
Did they do that with the PS2? Did they do that with the PS3?
They didn't have Ryzen chips in it. They didn't have Ryzen chips in it.
They had computer chips in them. Even if you had
the cell processor was not the same. This is PC hardware.
Come on,
this is PC hardware.
Tsunami, you need to go back, honey, and reread that shit.
You tell me
because the thing is a Ryzen chip is a computer chip.
That's what's in the fucking systems.
Okay, but all the systems
RDNA chip, yes. Zen 2 processor.
All the systems beforehand, all of them had computer chips in them that was also compatible to PC.
They were not the chips that were actually in PCs. These are the same systems in PCs. Ryzen 2 Zen architecture is gonna be the same exact shit that's on PC. These consoles are PCs.
Get to some other topics, Jay.
Yeah, man. Look, what you said. Look, what was it? Tsunami, whatever your name is. What you saying is the truth, right? From wherever you read it, right? So wherever you read this, they told you their truth, but then an article came out and confirmed that was a lie. Now again, you can listen. You can believe what you want to believe. I can't fucking change your mind. Obviously, you're on some heavy ass drugs. But look, the truth is, hold on. The truth is, it seems like what you learned, it was from some sort of a rumor, and it was not confirmed by Sony at all.
Did Sony confirm what you said?
Yes, that it was an article that came out and said they're gonna have only on PS5 exclusive. So yes. Yeah, because what you were reading off was spreading across the internet, so they actually had to release a statement. So yes, what I'm saying is true.
That's because Tony's a finesser. They always finesse you.
Wait up. So what you're saying is, if somebody spreads a lie, Sony should just allow them to spread that lie?
What is the lie?
The lie is you're telling me that PS5 games will be playable on the PS4.
PS4.
All right, how about this? Let's
No. If you believe that, why wasn't PS2 playable on PS1? Why wasn't PS3 played on PS2?
Just like I told you, the architectures aren't the same. This is the first time.
It don't matter. It don't matter, bro.
You don't have to make another game for it.
So, okay, let me ask you this. Are you coming to this conclusion yourself, or did Sony, did somebody tell you that?
Gentlemen, JayTech, you got a couple bills. I'll read them real quick.
Oh, yeah, please read those bills. Read them.
Thank you, Elijah.
Yeah. I just got back. I'm sorry. What the hell did I walk into?
Okay, wait a minute. We got a couple. Got a couple bills. Elijah Parker, thank you for the $2.
Got some bills on the channel? Yeah, let's go.
Hold on, V.
Tsunami said, Elijah Parker says, Tsunami, lay off the weed. Thank you very much. Andrew Wilkins is saying Black Xbox fans say the worst things in fight. 4 Caucasian executives at Xbox and
They
call you the hardest, and none of the Black Xbox YouTuber gets lots of subs or donations. Money.
Wait, what?
Andrew Wilkins be going in, man. Andrew Wilkins be going in. Y'all niggas crazy.
Hold on for a minute. Hey, let me thank everybody out there in the chat, man. Thank y'all for coming. And D-Backs, I see you out there talking that shit. Get your ass in here so you can get red too.
I just got back, man. Shout out to OB Jada Don. We posted Wednesday. I think it was it. But I'm sorry, I just got back. My grandmother called me. What the hell did I walk into? Last time.
Hell on earth. That's what happened. Hell broke loose.
Look, man, you brought me in. We don't check this motherfucker up right now.
Yo, Z, he's saying that PS4 games, well, PS5 games are going to cross over to PS4, and we like, yo, you bugging out.
He said for the first 2 to 3 years.
No, I have a different opinion on that. We got Game On Miles. That's my brother. Look, man. Look. Hey, JayTech, nigga. After nigga, I need $3 on my PayPal, nigga. I didn't turn over and got your shit crooked, nigga.
I don't believe in that, man. Sorry. You can leave now if you want to. I don't believe in that.
Yo, Z, I can get your channel up and popping, nigga. Just get me on. Just make sure you invite me, man. I got you, man.
Who's that?
J-Love. It's J-Love. Yeah, I got you, man.
Listen, I just said you follow me on Twitter. We gonna work. I'm on. But I'm sorry. But Big Cloud Gaming. I'm sorry. I left. That was an important phone call. And then post. But I'm sorry. But we at now? Fill me in, please. One person fill me in.
Basically,
yeah, go ahead, Snow. We were saying
that Tsunami was saying that for the first 2 to 3 years, all the next PlayStation 5 games will be cross-gen with PlayStation 4. So you would be able to buy a PlayStation 4, have a PlayStation 4, and all the next PlayStation 5 games will be played on it because they're having the same architecture. We're saying that for the first year it might be, but only with certain games.
I think a game like MLB The Show will definitely be on 2 platforms, but it's not exactly the same game. But you cannot expect the God of War. You can't expect Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn to be playable on next last generation console. It's not happening.
Tsunami, they're still going to support the PS4. Tsunami, they're still going to support the PS4, but they're not going to have those PS5 games or the PS4. That's not going to happen, yo. Then that's not going to happen.
Let me add on to that. Because they already confirmed that in an interview that's going around that Spider-Man that's coming out in 2021. Y'all remember that? Spider-Man 2? That's exclusive to PS5.
Listen, here's the thing, right? Listen, I got you some bots here to beat on. May God forgive them again. The big game, if you want to play the next God of War, you're going to need a PlayStation 5.
Facts. That's what we're saying, yeah.
It's not even that. Listen, it's not even that far out because they already have the assets in place. They're not building from the ground on to add on to that. Like that's the
thing is the first 2 years, bro. I can't see Sony out a big game. Wait a minute. I can't see them putting out a game like God of War in the first 2 years.
Let me tell you something.
They have
I can't see them doing it.
Ray tracing? Ray tracing in the PS4?
Listen.
Ray tracing in the PS4?
Hold on 1 second. First of all, listen, JayTech, I do apologize. Listen, the broadband bullies, right? Now everybody, IQ have the mental fortitude, right? Or even my man, Big Money. You know, listen, it's a business, right? We gotta be clear. This is a business, right? And to be fair, Sony ain't in the same book as far as financially, as far as Microsoft, right? And making the money, waiting to make their money back on the back end.
Okay, I understand that.
Even though I understand you realize, so again, whatever it takes them to develop the R&D, we're talking about $1 billion, and they want to move you along, right? All right, this being real. So Microsoft, what they're doing is totally different. Like, you know what I mean? As of yet, the no man left behind, right? Listen, as a gamer, horrible. Gamers are very selfish hobby, right? I want that motherfucker to be built from the ground up to take advantage of everything that's inside that place. And that's the reason that we upgrade. Now listen, are you going to have Assassin's Creed, whatever black flag, on both? Yes. But when it comes to their new rule, that was the case, right? You had 95 million PlayStation 3s out there, right? Or whatever the fuck it is, right? They didn't put Infamous Second Son on both. They didn't put Killzone on both.
cell architecture.
You understand?
No,
that's not because that's not saying because Little Big 3 was on both. It's not again. They're big bangers. Check it out, right? They want you to buy this motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Again, we already know that we saw people say jump upgrade because the graphics. In this case, the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One X would be both Microsoft and Sony number one selling consoles. They are the lower end models, right? So again, to get us to go out there and excited to go out there and buy that motherfucker, you gonna have to motherfucking buy the goddamn PlayStation 5. That's just goddamn common sense.
It's business practice.
That's always been a game.
But it's not going to make the first. I'm talking about the first 2 years.
No,
the first 2 years only is not. Listen, bro, they will not put a game like God of War, the next God of War, the next Spider-Man. They're not going to do it. Not the first 2 years. They're not going to do no shit like that, bro. I don't see. I'm gonna say I don't see them doing no shit like that.
All right, listen. Check it out, right? We got to. I'm about to knock you smooth the fuck out because you've been drinking, right?
Go ahead.
What was the install base of the NES, right? And you came up with the Super Nintendo, right? They dropped that. No. But listen, we gotta be honest here, right? So if you to buy that new goddamn Super Nintendo, you want the new Mario, you had to buy the new Super Nintendo, right?
You know the architecture.
Listen, bro.
Okay.
Let me finish. You understand? So you had the PlayStation 1, that library. The user base was huge, right? Right. I'm not talking about backwards compatibility shit. This cross-gen shit is something new that I've always been account, and the reason why because they lost so much money. That's to me. I think that's very unhealthy for gaming. And it's a very selfish hobby. When I drop down $500 to buy, look at it like this, right? Rise of Tomb Raider, a very pretty game, right? We all can agree on that, right? Came out on the Xbox One, right? But that motherfucker still had to be made around the parameters of a half a gig of RAM for the Xbox 360. And the architecture, those are two different architectures. That doesn't even make any sense, right? Could you imagine again how good that game would have looked if it was only made for the Xbox One?
I know that, but it was made.
Listen, hear me out. You understand, right? So just again, and those are two different architectures. So we can't use that architecture as that because the x86 and PowerPC are two different things, right? But again, what I'm saying is making it for that and for that only would look phenomenal, even with Destiny, right? How good that game could have looked. And that ran on the 360 and the PS3, totally different architectures, right? It was backwards compatible, right? That was a money grab. That's to me. I hate that cross-gen development shit, man. But you had 8 or 9 years there already with that shit, right?
Let me get this right. Let me get this right now. You're saying, let's say the PS5 comes out next year, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's say hypothetically that God of War 2 or the next God of War, whatever they call it, let's say it comes out 6 months after the PS5 come out.
Right. All right.
You're telling me it's only going to be on the PS5.
Yes, sir.
It's not coming to the PS4.
Yes, sir.
Hell no. Hell no.
Listen. Listen, Linda. Right. So if you don't, so what is the incentive of buying this new console? You can't tell me that it's ready. No.
Business. You said it yourself.
Listen, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
Now listen, you're hearing me you listening between hearing me, right? What's the incentive? Listen, what I'm saying. What will be the incentive? I'm sorry, to buy their $1 billion investment again. If I can play their old games, if I can play their new games on my old shit.
Everybody bought Tulo remastered. Right?
Listen, that's not what I'm saying. Hear me again. I'm not talking about remasters, remake. What's the incentive again for me to buy this $500 goddamn box? Right.
My point. Graphics.
Listen. If graphics was the key, the X and the Pro will be both Sony #1 selling platform. It's not.
Didn't
the S.
Didn't the
No,
last the Last of Us?
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Z, listen to me. I'm not saying listen.
Listen, it was about graphics. What is Sony and Microsoft #1 selling platform? Console-wise, it's the S and the SAD. They're low-end model. So if it was about graphics, again, graphics, right? Everybody would have an X. Everybody, God, listen, Paul Rock's my motherfucking brother. God bless his soul. That motherfucker got a PS4 Slim with VR duct tape to that motherfucker sitting on top of air conditioner for that bitch won't cut off, all right? It's not about the graphics. I'm talking about console games. It's not about the graphics, you know what I mean? Because again, motherfuckers would everybody would have a Pro, everybody would have an X, and not the fucking S or the Slim.
The panel could be so kind to me for a second. I just want to say.
Oh, you got DJ shit.
Oh, shit. Now, a lot of you guys.
I've been looking for you, D. I've been looking for you, man. I'm gonna tear your ass up, D. You in here now. I'm gonna tell you about this.
You guys talk about. I'm just gonna get my exclusives on the PC if it's on the Xbox One X and all this shit. Yet you don't know how a fucking PC works, and that's pretty sad, to be honest with you. Now I'm gonna say this straight off the bat. The consoles are x86, so that allows them to scale the fucking games. It's just it's a fact. Now I don't think Sony's gonna do it for the whole generation. I don't think that. I think maybe after a year and a half, Sony's just going to phase out the PlayStation 4. Now, the reason why I say that, Z's talked about this is business 101, but yet he forgets the most important thing.
All the customers.
There's 100 million customers.
Hey, you know what? Y'all act like...
Let him finish, y'all. Let him finish. Go ahead, D.
You barely hear anybody, that's the thing.
Subscribers or users for, right? Now, the ideal situation would be all of them to turn over day one and Sony get all that money. The reality is that's not going to happen. I would say maybe 10 to 15% of the base is gonna transfer over in the first year. So now, from a business standpoint, it wouldn't make sense to make all of their games exclusive to the PlayStation 5 in the transition period because they want to get as much money as they can get. Now, after a year and a half or so, they're gonna cut those games off definitely. It's not a no. It's from a business
killing yourself right now, man. What the hell are you talking about?
The PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 2, they had computer chips. Why didn't they listen? It was a different architecture, so they couldn't port the things over. They had to make the games brand new because. Hold on a second. It was a different architecture. Now we have a 2080 Ti.
Thank you, good sir.
Let me say my point. You guys just oohing and awing, but you're not listening. A 2080 Ti is a different architecture. It's got ray tracing. It's got tensor cores. It's got DLS. It's got a whole bunch of different things that the other cards can't do. Yet the same fucking games on the lower scale. They don't run as well. They don't have ray tracing. They don't have what you guys fail to realize is that x86 and the new engine are scalable.
Listen, let me pay the bills. OBJ John, he played the bill in the witnesses. He said, yes, it's only going to be PS5 games, just like Infamous and Killzone. Why is that so hard to understand?
Because it was a different architecture. They couldn't. It was a cell architecture.
Listen. And on top of that, okay, listen. Right? Because you gonna go. No. All right, listen. Listen. Hold on. I got to pay the bills again, right? Hold on. I got to pay the bills again, right? Check this shit out, right?
You got people talking about shit that ain't qualified to talk about it.
Then you I'll let you speak, right? Let me answer your question civilly. But we on somebody else's platform. Respect this motherfucking platform. Put that crack bite down and listen, right? You keep saying different architecture, what runs. That's not even a goddamn question. You stay fucking mudding up the water. It's not even what the fuck we talking about, right?
Nah, that's what
Okay, no.
You guys are saying that PlayStation 5 in the beginning is going to have exclusives that are just to the
Hey, calm down.
Listen here. I'll let you speak, right? I'll let your piper there speak. You good for that, cutting motherfuckers off. I didn't say nothing, even though I didn't agree with it. That wasn't even a question in hand, a different type of architecture, right? Because again, you had Little Big Planet 3 on the PS3, and you had Little Big Planet 3 on the PS4, right? If that's the case, you're talking about user install base, all right? Why didn't they release Killzone and fucking Knack on the PS3?
Because they couldn't.
They would
Listen to me again. You had Little Big Planet 3 on the PS3, right? You had Little Big Planet 3 on the PS4, right? Am I right? Am I fucking wrong? If you talking about, listen. If you're talking about architecture, right? You have Forza Horizon 2 on the 360 power PC, and you have Forza Horizon 2 on the Xbox One x86. The architecture has nothing to do with that.
What do you mean has nothing to do with it? It has everything to do with it.
Listen.
Architecture.
Those games.
Let me finish. No, you can't correct me on shit because it's a fucking fact.
So let me
listen. Let me finish and you can rebuttal. All right. So I'm not even talking about the architecture, right? So what is the reason or the purpose of someone? If you're talking about again of the PS3 and the 360. Both 90 million fucking installed bases, whatever between the both, whatever the fuck the case may be, right? Right? Am I right or am I wrong? Right? So again, you need something, some eye candy to sell your fucking hardware.
It's called it's called the new features that the hardware is capable of.
Oh my god!
The games. Hold on a second. Let me speak now. The games on the PlayStation 5, cross-gen or not, they're gonna look substantially better than the PlayStation 4. Faster loading times. It's gonna have better AI. It's gonna have fucking ray tracing, and the games are gonna be 60 frames per second.
Let me ask you a question. Do games look better on the X graphically than the S?
Yes, they do.
So why isn't the X number on console, or why isn't the Pro? Why is the Pro not Sony number one selling console?
Because of the price, dumbass.
Everybody, okay, if I give you an example, the best iPhone.
Wait. The PS4 just said that 1.2, and that shit sound like a motherfucker.
Yo, you just said to me about
exactly what the fuck are you talking about?
You just talking about graphics and amazing, this, that, and the other. So I said to you, games look amazing on the X, right?
Because we all know that when a console is $300,
nigga, that's not the question.
It's always been like that.
You always
that's when the masses
answer the question.
You think it launched everybody. You think Cores launched? Everyone that had a PS3 didn't go out and get a PS4, even though it was the games were only on that platform and not the PlayStation 3.
That's what he did with that channel. He talking about a bunch of nothing.
This man said he's going to sell next gen. Did the whole features argument win when the Xbox One with the Skype and shit? No.
Let me ask you a question. Why do people go out and grab a 2080 Ti opposed to a GTX 1060?
Because they want performance.
A 2080 Ti does ray tracing. And a 1060 doesn't. Games on the 2080 Ti are they look leagues ahead of what a fucking GTX.
Okay, you know what? Hey, listen, you ready for this? I'm gonna shut the fuck up. This nigga never make no sense, right?
Please try.
Okay. Are you ready for this? I'm about listen here. This nigga put the King Cooning. Check this shit out right here, right? What's the top card out there? Right now.
2080 Ti.
Why you ain't got one, bitch?
I have to wait for
Let me answer. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Let me
answer.
Let me answer. A 2080 Ti is.
That's not what, bro. That's not what I asked you. No. I didn't use it all that. The 2080 ray tracing. Why you ain't got one?
I'm answering it. A 2080 Ti is overpriced in my opinion. I have a Radeon 7 which does 4K 60. Hold on a second. I also have hold on a second. Let me finish. Let me finish my question. 4 other PCs. Let me finish.
One question.
You want to answer or do you want the answer that you fucking want?
You tell me how many PCs you got. I asked you what's the best card. No, listen, we're not screwing this.
2080 Ti.
I asked you one question. What's the best card out there?
A 2080 Ti.
And you do all this capping and cooning, you ain't even got one.
And I'm telling you,
all right, can we move on? Next topic. Next topic.
Let me answer.
A 2080 Ti is
hold on.
A 2080 Ti is overpriced. For 4K 60, my Radeon 7 has me covered. Now for games, hold on a second. For games that I want ray tracing with, I have a 2070 Super.
Hold on. Can you stop talking for a minute so I
can J-Love, a quiz. All right, hold on.
Let me pay the bills, man. Let me pay the bills, yo.
I gotta go.
JayTech, you could mute some of the people if you wanted to, brother.
Yeah,
J-Love,
about to fucking should have did that a while
Big
ago.
Cal Gaming, Snow Bunny, my brother Big Money who invited me. But this is the bullshit I deal with him. Right? He's janky as hell.
But we have a bill to pay.
Yeah. Let's pay these bills. Let's pay these bills.
Hey, everybody, we're getting like money. Can we like thank the people who given us money?
Thank you.
I
want to read this one. This is by Beats Games Life. Zim M804 told D facts and this dummy still hurting his brain. Okay, look.
Now I do have one question though. Okay, so since the best graphics card is like expensive and not really worth the money as or overpriced right now, if you're expecting those same things in the console for the next gen, won't the next gen console be too expensive to buy also?
The next gen consoles, when those cards come out, they're going to be a generation behind. So we're basically going to get like I would say we probably get about RTX 2080 performance consoles. And the next generation, when these consoles come out, they're going to be on the RTX 3080 Ti and whatnot, or whatever.
But they're coming out next year, so they're going to start production of these very soon.
I think the consoles are going to be about $500. If you want my honest opinion, I think they're going to be $500.
Then probably the most honest thing you said all time. God damn.
Oh dang!
I can fucking believe
JayTech, what's another topic, JayTech? JayTech, stay up play.
Fucking late as shit, man. We didn't get to no fucking topics.
Oh,
no, man, we did get to all
your cool ass back to Get your cool janky ass out here. Get your back dancing ass back out here.
Hold on. Hey, let me thank the chat. Let me thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, Big Cal Gaming. Thank you, D-Backs for jumping in. With us, bro. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. Hey. Everybody out there, bro. Hey, make sure y'all come back every Sunday at 2:00 to check us out, bro.
It was fun. It was fun.
Man, JayTech run the show, but these motherfuckers came and took over.
They hijacked that shit with their fucking mindset.
Hey, Tech, get these motherfuckers up out of here.
Inbox me. Send me information.
You in Discord? Next in your Discord?
I'm in your Discord right now. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna drop the link to my.
We ain't talk about stay or play.
Man, this motherfucker.
Talk about. Yeah, we did. Eddie, we talked about that. Eddie, we talked about it in the beginning.
That one was funny.
It was entertaining. And yo, I'm glad I get his dog to channel CBR. Yeah, I brought it back to life, right? Listen here, man.
you gonna quit talking about our channel like that, my nigga.
I had fun. I did. It was fun. I like the comment. But JayTech, you gotta stop blocking motherfucker. Let your walls down. Have fun, man. It's entertaining. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, you can't.
Bro, you know what? Regardless, he was right, bro. Like when most people that's gonna come watch us is the people that hate us. Yeah. That's gonna be the people that gonna come watch us.
I dropped my shit this is your I dropped my follow me. I mean whatever. Inbox me. So I want to work with some of you. Can be too big.
I just hit you up.
You inbox me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody got anything else to say before we get up out of here? Because I'm hungry.
Still playing.
Wait, hold on.
Still playing.
Okay, we covered that in the beginning, in the very beginning.
But listen, shameless plug. Shameless plug, right? If you don't mind, I'm about to go live on Twitch. We do what you call the Expand Your Mind podcast, where we do religion, UFOs, and all that shit. If you're into that type of shit, I'm gonna drop the link to my Twitch channel. I'm gonna be live there in about, give me like 20 minutes. I'm gonna be live there. We talk about, politics, UFOs, religions, and Bigfoot, dog. Man, it's fun. We had fun. We turn up and turn out. I had fun today. I'm sorry I had to wait for a minute. This was fun. I gotta come back. Maybe I'll come back next week. We got the next. Maybe I'll come on. If you live,
if we get Mooch on here, I think Mooch supposed to come next.
Yeah, Mooch supposed to come back next week.
Listen, you don't need me. You need me. You need me. Hey, don't get no realer than this. You need me, but listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the link to my Twitch right here. Like I said, we're going to be live there with Expand Your Mind. And we're talking about, again, whatever, all types of shit outside the game. And we have fun doing it. I mean, so, again, JayTech, thank you for having us. Is the PlayStation Legion?
Yeah, PlayStation Legion.
PlayStation Legion.
All right, so what I got to do to become a permanent member? Who I got to kill? Who I got to kill for a seat?
You ain't got to kill nobody, nigga.
JayTech runs the show, man. JayTech runs the show.
Put some respect on that motherfucking PlayStation Legion. That's all you got to do.
JayTech runs the show here, so that's
y'all gotta apologize for D. I thought that was gonna be all right.
All the time.
I thought that was gonna be like the leaf picture. This son of a bitch goddamn
gasoline.
Let out so many damn runs.
That nigga D is crazy, man. That nigga D is really crazy.
Hey, fuck that, bro.
Hey, see, how the fuck you gonna shut that man down on just one damn phrase? Do you have a 2080 Ti? You talk about all this power.
Hey, yo, Elite, shut it. Hey, Parker. Hey, Parker, I'm supposed to have to wait, Parker. You done dropped 6,000 and shut him counting. You ain't drop no money in my chat in a minute, but shout out to Parker. It's a great show.
That's good, Parker. Keep throwing that money at him. Keep throwing that money.
Until he face me in Call of Duty. Until then, he ain't nothing but a coward.
Oh shit!
Like that, he put about $10 up for this motherfucker today, bro.
Shit! Look here. That benefits y'all. That don't benefit shit for me. Parker, you come see me on that Call of Duty, you suck, bitch. Simple as that.
Friends. All right, hold on. I'm accepting.
You said sign a contract.
I'm gonna drop the link to my Discord. You guys.
Who said sign a contract?
Oh no. All right, we got J Love. Okay. This is sorry. This is you sent me first request on Discord. But I'm talking about on Twitter. I'll be follow me on Twitter, inbox me so we can set something up with you guys. And have fun. Have fun, man. It woke me up out of my slump, but have fun, man.
See you later. So y'all probably pop in your Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this platinum out the way for Death Stranding and get back on these other games.
I thought you didn't buy it, motherfucker. You talking about all that shit?
Oh shit.
Oh, let me set you straight on that. Let me set you straight on that. I had that shit day one. Man. Go check my trophies. Day one.
That's you on Twitter.
Yeah.
You say give me exclusive.
That motherfucker been day one. No fucking cancellations over here.
You did say you wasn't.
Huh?
You said you wasn't feeling it or something. Wasn't exclusive.
The console bundle. I canceled my console bundle.
I canceled my console.
The console bundle.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I got the digital day one, man. I don't do that Xbox shit. I don't do that. I don't do
what I'm asking a question, but this should be sounding crazy. What you just don't? What there's nothing up that you would like to play Fable or nothing? Like, ain't nothing up that you would like to play it at all?
On Xbox?
Ain't nothing to it.
Look. Scalebound, Fable, Sunset Overdrive.
You saw the new screenshot they leaked?
For Fable, I saw it. I
can't wait. I can't wait.
Look, I'm gonna be looking over there. It's not that I'm not gonna look over there. I'm gonna look over there. I got the games I want to play on Xbox. We gotta see.
I own everything, man. I'm playing on everything. You know what I mean?
I don't care what like that. Put over there. JayTech is not going to buy Xbox.
But I'm scared. I'm a gamer at the end of the day.
If they put Fable on everybody else's platform, shit, I just play it on PS5. You know? That's what they want to do. They want to be everywhere. Let them be everywhere.
I mean, how do you feel about Horizon? Did that bother you?
We'll see if it's true though. I mean, look, like that's what I was saying in the beginning. State of Play is coming up. If it's going to play PC versus via PlayStation Now, then
I'm asking how much you feel about that though.
I don't know how I would feel. I mean, all I know that if they do that, all games should go over. It would be weird. It would be weird for only Horizon Zero Dawn to go over.
I'm gonna say it like this, right? Hold up. I'm sorry, I know we're about to close, right? But I had to this Verizon, Verizon, meaning they also do a service, right? So the leaked article that came out, you saw God of War there, and they had Detroit Become Human. So right away, motherfuckers, that's bullshit. That would never, this, that, and the other. Then the follow-up month came out that Detroit went to fucking PC, right? Yeah. I don't look at PC really as a platform. I'm getting wrong to my consoles. Well, it's not on a rival console at the end of the day. Like I don't game. I have a very capable PC. The nigga that was ahead capping my PC much more powerful than it, right? I just use it for YouTube content. I'm a console guy. That shit really don't bother me. Like, I mean, as long as the game is great. Besides, outside of having these fanboy, what we do. I really don't give a fuck, man. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, at the end of the day, if they can use that money to make more great exclusives, to find, so be it. I don't give a fuck. I would never game on PC. I'm not. I mean, that's not my thing. Yeah. I like the simplicity of just playing on consoles, man. Like I look at Street Fighter still being exclusive, even though it's on PC. Like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. It's a personal computer.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if they do that, then I do expect them to follow suit with what Microsoft is doing. Their first party lineup.
But they need to know not to do that though.
It's something that I don't believe. I'm not a believer of rumors. Like if it's not proven,
I'm not saying with this. All I'm saying, the guy that they have there now, Ryan was his name. He's more of a. He's more of in the tradition. Yeah, he's more of in the tradition of the dollar. What they should. It's about money. What they should. So let's say services guy want they should to make the most bang for their buck. And it went by chance again that they lost Sean Layton, and a lot of other motherfuckers got moved out. So even Yoshida got fucking demoted.
For what? Why you think, Jay? Why you think?
Because they're not willing to. How you say? You got. I told you about my thesis. You got three types of niggas in the world. You got niggas that die before they time. You got niggas that die because they out of time. You got niggas that die because they stuck in time, not willing to change with time. And the way the way that the game came out, yes, that was successful for us, 100 million. But they look at, he said, everybody want to touch that 2 billion fucking gamers out there in the world. You know what I mean? To make that, about the money.
Yeah, but Jim Ryan is hardcore though. You see what he's saying? He said he ain't making this.
What he said for now. That doesn't mean tomorrow.
No, we talked about this in the beginning. If this goes to PlayStation Now, I do want to know if anybody, yourself included, can track down where the rumor came from, and then also speak to your own self and say, why did I believe this?
I mean, that's the thing with the rumor came from the guy.
I'm not a person to spread rumors. That's the difference between me and everybody else. So unless that shit's proven, if they go to State of Play on Tuesday and they say, hey, these games are going to PC.
Listen, we got to get the big name to go. But we all talk about rumors, especially gaming. We talk about what's going on, right?
Gaming news.
It's news. It's news, right? Whether it came up, fuck. Like no motherfuckers still believe in the burning bush and the fucking talking snake, right? Fuck it is what it is, right? But again, I have to say this: it's just it's just fucking gaming talk in itself. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, even with PS Now day and date, like it doesn't fucking matter. Long as Sony make great games and to continue to put out fucking bangers, that's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. Not what this and that and the other. Like, bro, we talking about again, like, bro, that's the only thing. Long as they continue to make fucking hits, that's all. What they doing the board? Even though it's on the figures.
I know you don't like rumors, but rumors is a part of gaming now. It's a part of the game.
JayTech kind of weird, man. He said, man, JayTech said, man, no, he said, man, he said,
all I'm gonna say, man, we just had a rumor, just like Horizon Zero Dawn. It was what is it? Persona 5 was supposed to go to the Switch and the PC. That was a rumor. And it didn't come true. It was supposed to get announced on Tuesday.
My man, JayTech said,
I don't like looking wrong. I follow the facts. That's all I can do. I can follow the facts.
It's not about looking wrong, but we're talking about what's, just talking to my man JayTech. They don't believe in sex on the first date. Fuck all that, man. Just talk. Like, man, he said, nah, baby. He said, but you ain't had sex on the first date. He said,
all I'm saying is, if you believe it's going over, man, I would like you back on the show. I would like you back on the show next Sunday to talk about it going over.
Okay, listen. I had fun today.
So
let me pay the bill. Let me pay the bill. $2 holler from Elijah Parker. Great show, guys.
I know.
And you got another $2 holler. Sign the contract, Cheddar Bob. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, this is talk.
Cheddar Bob, come on.
Yeah. Look, 51 seconds ago, PlayStation just did another 25th year anniversary. This one they shouted out Resident Evil. They said, from Raccoon City to the Baker family house, thanks for all the itchy, tasty memories. So obviously, again, they're gonna start hyping shit up closer to the state of play. I don't think the celebration is over, but again, I do expect the announcement about Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's a rumor.
Hey, JayTech, listen, also off the air, before we go, could you explain to me
That's not a rumor, that was actually
JayTech, could you explain to me this TV bot shit before this TV thing? What do you call it? This Nightbot thing before we get off the air. We have something off the air. We get in the show. Because I'm about to do the show. Explain to me how it works, please. You'd be so kind. But hit the like button, guys.
Hit the like button. Yo, and to everybody before they leave, everybody that's a witness here, verbally listening to this, me and Next Gen had a bet $100 that Ghost of Tsushima is gonna go diamond. We had placed a $100 bet that Ghost of Tsushima is gonna go diamond. Everybody listen. Ghost of Tsushima is going diamond. He betted me that it's not. So we placed a $100 bet. Ryan, you hear this? Son of Sam, you hear this? Next Gen, JayTech, you hear this? Big Money, you hear this?
Listen, is it a time?
He gonna be big, my nigga.
No, I'm not. That's what it is. Is it a time frame?
No, it's not a time frame, but it's gonna. No.
So you showed me 3 years. You ain't gonna show 3 years from now knocking on my door.
All right. So put it like this: I give you a year. We give a year.
Hey,
I give you a year.
All right, bet.
Hey, Next Gen, you looking at the live stream because I wanted to know what your problem was.
Okay, now I want like far as commands, right? How do you say I was going to say, hey, I wanted to say like subscribe to my Twitter, this, that, and the other stuff like that. What do you put that in that? Like, what do you?
Okay, let me see.
And I don't want them to time motherfuckers out from how you say spam.
Okay, so look, what you want to do is you want to go to timers and make sure that'll be in the timers section. I got it up on screen right now. You can go check it out.
You know what? No, you got your shit. Like I can't see it because everybody's. Could you put it on like far as only one person show when he speak? All I see is.
Okay. I got you.
Just minimize the box and move it.
Yeah,
because I can't see it at all. Or slide it over and bring it down, or close it.
I got you. It's
okay, thank you.
Good. Here you go.
We've been on this motherfucker for 3 hours.
Well, we good. So you gotta set this stuff up with timers. These are all my timers right here for notifications.
I can't see them. Okay, show me the timers. Know where timers at? Timers.
All right, timers are underneath spam protections. Right.
All right.
Yeah. So these timers are for all the messages and links to different stuff. The spam protection right here is what you want to get into. You want to make sure you disable the excessive caps. You want to disable the excess.
I let them do what they do. I don't give a fuck. They can long thing say no racial shit. I don't want no timers, no nothing.
Yeah.
Type how they want.
Yeah. So basically, just disable all of them.
So I go to what's the name? I got Nightbot. It's called Nightbot, right?
Yeah, it's Nightbot.tv.
Wait, hold on. I got him seeing. Hold on. I got him.
Hey Z, that thing you about to do is on the same Discord, right? We can
yeah.
Same Discord.
Night. Oh, this is called Nightbot, right?
Yeah,
right,
nightbot.tv.
All right, I got one my damn self. I mean, log in. Hold on. Thank you very much for showing me.
Okay.
I'm logging in with my Twitch. All right, right quick. Log in with Twitch. All right. All right, so now I'm on my far left hand side. I say timer. I said timers. All right. I see spam protection.
Yeah.
All right.
Make sure all of that shit is disabled, man. Just make sure all of it's disabled. The repetitions, make sure that's disabled as well. Just disable that. That would be like somebody repeating something over and over, or repeating any word over and over. They might time them out for that.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I got all that shit disabled, right?
Yeah, disable all that.
Jay, you know who Tony Polanco is?
No.
Yeah. Tony, all right. So on the timer. Okay, so on the timer, so everything. So they don't have a time frame as far as what they type.
Oh yeah, timers is only pertaining to like your little messages that'll pop up.
The timers they be like you spamming like motherfucker.
Oh yeah, you won't have that. You won't have that as long as you disable it. You won't have that.
I know how as far as commands when I can put like subscribe to. How do you do that? Like just like how did you put that in to get that to drop the shit in there?
Okay, so let me see. Do I have commands?
I seen something say welcome to.
Oh, okay. So my command, I don't really have those commands. I put them under timers. So I have timers. These are the little messages with my links, and they're set to a time. Like every 10 minutes, one is every 15, the other one's every 20 minutes. You will see.
Okay. So I go. So
you go to timers.
I go to timers, right?
Yeah, and then you type in whatever you need to be said, and then put it on a timer that. Like I said, every 5 or 10 minutes it'll pop up. It could be 20 minutes.
That goes to timers, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, timers.
Hold on, Z. In a minute, you gonna have to pay my man.
I ain't no so. I put some left this door. All right, timers. I go to add. Right, my timers is blank. I will hit add. Right.
Yeah, add, make a message, and then
I'll put this social link up top. I'll put the link right up top.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Subscribe. Okay, Twitch, and then the message, and I say subscribe.
And put a link
to my and the name because this is your timer name.
Yeah, okay. So my Twitter one is just Twitter, and then I have the message.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the stream again. Thank you, bro.
No problem.
All right. Go to time. Start from scratch. Let me say it again. Start that one right there. From scratch. And we hit add. Start from the beginning. I can see your screen. I was looking at mine. You hit add. Just start from the beginning for me, please.
Okay. So yeah, when you go over here to timers, you gotta go to add. Then you got the name of the timer.
Just make a fake one. Just start from the beginning. I want to see you do it.
Oh, like over here.
No, right here top where it says add. Make one for me, real quick.
Oh. Okay.
To the right, far right.
So you put, I don't know,
No, you see you got that brand new add button.
Yeah, I got it. It's a little bit.
All right, start from the beginning for me. I can't see nothing.
Let's see.
All right, socially. All right, so and it was
shout out to the 61 people in here watching JTech.
For the first time. Okay, the name is called Xbox. All right, the message will be
Message would be Xbox.com.
Okay, all right.
And then this interval is how long it would take to pop up, and then the next time it'll pop up. So every 15 minutes right here. But
it'll drop it. Okay.
Yeah, you could set it to any time you want. 50 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Damn. All right. So there ain't nothing because I wasn't fucking with says commands.
Yeah. You don't even need to worry about commands. I got fooled by that shit too when I got over here. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, brother.
No,
what about you know about that text to talk shit, that text to speak shit?
No, I don't know about that. I don't got none of that shit set up.
All right, but thank you very much, man. Thank you.
No
Shout out to everybody that came over with me and subscribed to my man's channel. He said he gonna stop blocking motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, just give me a fucking list. God damn it. Yeah, give me a list. I'm just gonna go through. Big ass list, I know.
Yeah, but no, go over here. I want to tell you something personal. Go over here. We in with the show. We done? Oh, no, I was asking to go off air when I told him something. We done with the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Andrew Wilkins with the $10 donation. Shout out to Andrew.
God damn it, it's another donation.
Shout out.
No, just that one. No.
Oh, okay.
I was telling him to